Kim Dane, an ordinary young man, suddenly found himself transported into the world of a superhero comic called Stardust. In this new reality, Dane made the deliberate decision to become a villain, using this role to amplify Stardust's abilities while proactively preventing all the tragic events that had originally befallen her in the story. Yet despite all of this, the first heroine, who had initially harbored a strong bias against him, gradually developed a fascination bordering on obsession for this villainous figure, Egoistic. There was one day in particular when Dane unveiled a plan he called the Villain Hunt. Drawing from his knowledge of future events, he knew that certain individuals would eventually grow dangerously powerful. So, he decided to eliminate them before they could wreak havoc on the city or threaten Stardust. Supporting him in this scheme was Seo-eun, a genius with extraordinary intelligence, who communicated with Dane through an earpiece. Their current target was now within sight, a man sitting motionless on a sofa. Timing was perfect. Dane cocked his weapon, ready to execute his plan. His first ability, instant teleportation. In the blink of an eye, his firearm was pressed directly to the forehead of Rhino, an A-class villain, while his second ability, telekinesis, activated. Dane's presence seemed to echo like a demon king's greeting from the depths of hell. Before even a second passed, leaving Rhino no time to react, Dane dispatched him without hesitation. Once the threat was neutralized, he picked up the stack of papers Rhino had been handling with obsessive care. Just as he had predicted, they were indeed plans for a terrorist attack. In the original story, this man, Rhino, would later evolve into an S-class villain, wearing a rhinoceros mask and killing hundreds. Meanwhile, Seo-eun reminded him that the police and heroes were already on their way. Before leaving, Dane smeared a message in blood across the doorframe. Soon enough, the authorities arrived, quickly deducing that the culprit behind this incident and the previous one was the same individual. The message Dane left was specifically for Stardust, and it succeeded in driving her absolutely insane. Media outlets began reporting on the incident, and beneath the articles, numerous comments praised Dane's actions, while others criticized the hero's performance. As Dane read these reactions from his room, he felt a twinge of awkwardness. Watching him fuss over the mess, Seo-eun peeked in, curious about all the noise. A fire of determination ignited within Dane. He could not stand idly by, for if he did, only his own image would be elevated while Stardust would suffer the backlash. Public opinion would certainly turn against her. From that moment, he resolved to embrace his role as an utterly malevolent villain. Thus, the infamous Egoistic was officially born. He prepared a time bomb and stashed it in his backpack. In a bustling part of the city, people were glued to their phone screens, eagerly awaiting a spectacular event. Just as it was about to begin, Dane, now in his villainous persona as Egoistic, hacked into every screen and issued a greeting. Every electronic device in the city was now dominated by his live broadcast. He introduced himself arrogantly, revealing that he had just eliminated Rhino and Enzodiac, two A-class villains. Previously, he had proudly gestured toward Tower 127 with one hand and toward the observation deck of Building 61 with the other, both buildings where people inside were watching the scene unfold. Dane boldly announced that he had planted bombs in both locations. Immediately, the citizens shared the same expression of sheer terror. Some panicked, desperately searching for escape routes, while others froze in shock, unable to move. In front of hundreds of cameras, Dane boldly issued a challenge to the hero. The one he was referring to was none other than Stardust herself. Without keeping him waiting, Stardust appeared, swift and commanding like a gust of wind. Dane quickly did a mental checklist, scanning her long cloak, fitted pants, gloves, and even her mask. There was, however, one thing he could not control: his hands were trembling uncontrollably. It was his first time meeting the character he had admired so deeply in person. Stardust landed with precision and authority, radiating power with every movement. At the sight of her, Dane could not help but exclaim, a string of odd wows escaping his lips. And who could blame him? Stardust was breathtakingly beautiful, like a goddess stepping into the world. For a few frozen seconds, Dane was paralyzed, memories flooding back. He remembered the very first moment he had arrived in this world. His body was bruised and scratched, and chaos reigned all around him. All he had wanted was to return to his old world. But then, in one particular place, The light from a screen illuminated his face and there she was, Stardust, the heroine he had once only read about in a comic. It was at that very instant that Dane abandoned all thoughts of going back. If he became a hero, he would get to be near her. But having read the story inside and out, he knew that even as a hero, he could never truly protect her. So, to safeguard Stardust, Dane made a deliberate choice. He would become a villain meant solely for her. Back when our protagonist Kim Dane was only 15, the sick, gut-twisting laugh of the man blinded by the TV never stopped. Ha 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 ha. The guy's face was positively delighted, grinning like a madman. Ha 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 ha. Back then Dane could not make sense of it. Was Jackie actually insane? Even for a villain, that whole shtick felt wildly over the top. Now that he understood what it felt like to be a villain, Dane matched that insanity with his own monstrous laugh. Ha 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 ha. He laughed outright, even while the hero standing across from him glared with a fury that could crush him at any second. The world seemed to freeze. The restless crowd below faded away until it felt like there was nothing left on the rooftop but a single hero and a single villain. Rewinding to a few minutes before their face-to-face, Kim Dane pointed at Stardust with a smug look. I know exactly what you are thinking right now. Even my subordinate controlling that broadcast has a detonation switch, so do not even think about overpowering me with force. The hero's steps faltered at that remark. Dane spread his arms to reveal a swarm of drones hovering behind him. This stage I built is exclusively for Stardust. How do you like it? Her reply was a scowl. You monstrous jerk, free the innocent people right now. Do a couple of punches, then take them away. That is it. Dane kept that casual, cocky smile on his face as he leaned forward and looked into the camera. Yes, they will be released. That is what the righteous hero Stardust would say. Everybody, look at me now. I am going to hack the elevator controls A at each observation deck. He snapped his fingers. A sound echoed through the elevator shafts of both towers. Stardust's brow tightened. She knew the psychology of these kinds of villains too well. Nothing would end that easily. When the tenants in the building saw the elevators restart, they surged forward. Really, hurry, hurry, a shout tried to stop them. Wait, this was still part of Kim Dane's plan. If they were released that easily, where would the fun be? The down buttons lit up, he told them with excitement. If you press it, won't the bomb at the other observation deck just blow up? Simple, right? He hummed the words, feigning casual curiosity. From now until the bomb goes off, 30 minutes, he announced, then cranked his excitement to the max. Before then, hurry up and press it and get out. Kim Dane became a devil tempting the weak-willed crowd. Come on, hurry, after all, they are complete strangers, right? The large screens showed the chaos inside the building, children crying, people arguing in a cacophony. Stardust ground her teeth and cursed him under her breath. Dane pretended not to care about her reaction. Today I will show everyone the sheer selfishness of humankind. This is Egoistic's game. Chaos erupted inside the building. If the other side presses first, we will die horribly, but we still have to live, right? The timer's up and then it goes boom. I said 30 minutes, did not I? Does that mean you want to kill the people over there with just one button? They asked, panicked and suspicious. Will they press it? We do not have time to debate. The bomb would detonate in a matter of tens of minutes. What were they to do? They would press the button. The situation descended into true pandemonium. People were pacing, unable to sit still. Damn it, what is the hero doing now? Stardust found herself unable to act rashly. Even if she lunged and took him down in an instant, any remote detonator still out there would render that useless. At this rate, the hostages. Her gaze was as cold as ice, her voice taut with warning. Is it fun to toy with human lives like this? Across from her, Kim Dane squinted lazily, grinning with impunity. Ha ha, fun is not in that part, he replied. Stardust, one of the few A-class heroes of Korea. Someone who trusts in justice and their own convictions, someone who never compromises with evil. Truthfully, I respect you, Stardust. His words made her flush with anger. What nonsense are you spouting? She snapped. Dane, all pride and glee, rubbed his nose. I am merely complimenting you while the whole country watches you on live television. His voice drew even more attention. Seeing her trapped and powerless only fueled his excitement, his fingers dancing maniacally over the bomb's control. Truly exhilarating. His form shimmered and blurred, vanishing briefly. I am even giving you a chance to join the game. I will connect you with the people who are anxiously waiting for the hero. Stardust's face twisted in cautious confusion. What? Dane continued his theatrics. If you can persuade them successfully, and within 30 minutes no one presses the button. He crossed his legs and smiled wickedly. The bomb won't go off. Naturally, she did not believe him. You expect me to trust a bastard like you? He shot back, unafraid and even teasing her. Better than letting them helplessly stare at the sky, right? She clenched her fists at her sides, utterly powerless. But Dane did not care about her opinion. He gestured with a flourish. Now, he shouted, and the crowd of cameras swiveled in unison toward her. 3, 2, 1. With the countdown complete, the stage was set. The hero's face appeared on the massive LED screens across the towers. The citizens immediately recognized her. Stardust, Stardust. She drew a deep breath under the invisible weight of expectation, staring directly into the cameras as if into the eyes of each person watching. Hello, everyone. I am a class hero, Stardust. Each of us carries our own beliefs in our hearts. Her words froze the handsome young man in awe. Yes, that was exactly what he had wanted. This half-real, half-fantasy world felt like a dream. He would be immortalized as the villainous terrorist in the public eye, while her brilliance would shine. This stage belonged to her. Stardust. Her radiance, so others could someday feel proud of the choices they made today. Show this villain what you are made of. Her voice was like a warm current flowing through everyone's hearts. We are strong, her gaze hardened, our beliefs unshaken. We will never succumb to evil. Thank you, everyone. Kim Dane curved his lips into a subtle, mysterious smile. The countdown on the screens ticked down to 5. The people trapped inside the building clutched one another in silent prayer. Stardust's face brimmed with worry as she watched the screens. When the final number was reached, everyone closed their eyes in tense anticipation. Would the punishment really strike? Was the villain telling the truth? That was precisely when Kim Dane stepped onto the stage. At that moment, the cameras fell, and his incredulous, triumphant shout rang out. Impossible. He scanned the faces of the terrified citizens through the lenses. Impossible. Impossible. Surely at least one selfish soul would have pressed the button by now, someone like me. At least. He grabbed his head, muttering theatrically. Humans can't be this kind, can they? Stardust interjected. Egoistic, people are not as selfish as you think. Her image shone like radiant light across the screens. No one is completely selfless, but I believe in the goodness of people. It was because of her, Dane realized. Stardust, she had united them. He chuckled softly to himself. Interesting, is not it, Stardust? Before she could rush him, he bowed politely. The next game will definitely come. He spared her one last glance. Well, the steely blue of Stardust's eyes left him in awe, full of unwavering justice. At last, he vanished with a confident declaration, I will win. The entire crowd erupted in joyous relief. People broke down in tears, hugging one another and celebrating the hero's victory. United, they shouted a single name, Stardust, Stardust. Still, the hero remained motionless in midair. Kim Dane had already teleported to another location. The moment his feet hit the ground, he collapsed, utterly spent. He moaned and complained, "Oh God, I am dying." This was the consequence of teleportation, the lethal side effect of his instant transport ability that battered his body proportionally to the distance traveled. His limbs felt leaden. He could barely crawl. I will probably be bedridden for days. A girl said. I told you not to change that hat again, did not I? The white-haired girl looked at him with open disdain. It is hideous. Kim Dane croaked, pleading. Seo-un, I am really about to die. Give me a glass of water. The girl shrugged, flicked dust off her skirt, and walked away without mercy. Drink it yourself. She left him frozen on the spot. The giant LED screens flashed the breaking news. The terrorism incident at the towers had resulted in 0 casualties. Stardust hovered there, teeth clenched with hatred. Playing with other people's hearts like that, next time I will catch you for sure. She swore she would remember this name until she brought him to justice. Early one morning, at the Korean Heroes Association, the organization for those with superhuman abilities in Korea, a large screen displayed countless tabloid headlines circulating online. These were the latest news reports. The radio kidnapper seen by the entire nation, who is the person specifically targeting Hero Stardust. Let us review his actions. Who is a class villain? Egoistic. The topic was trending. No casualties from the actual terrorist threat spreading across the peninsula. And a radio abduction crossing international borders. Can Korea's broadcasting security really handle this? The meeting's moderator flipped to the next page. Next came a profile analysis on Egoistic. The dossier included information on the villain, along with some details about Kim Dane and his role as Egoistic, male, masked, with abilities that impair recognition of his residence, suspected location Seoul. A balding, portly man cleared his throat. Alright, let us begin the briefing. This was Bak Jun-ho, chairman of the Korean Heroes Association. His image appeared alongside scenes of crime in sealed rooms, and he looked visibly exasperated. Okay, we have reviewed this part enough times. Move on. Yes, sir, the moderator continued. Now I will explain the events of yesterday in detail. First, it appears the perpetrator exploited his instant teleportation ability to plant bombs on the exterior of the buildings beforehand. After disarming, we confirmed they were high-powered improvised explosive devices, capable of destroying an entire observation deck. Our conclusion: these were homemade high-yield bombs, likely crafted by the villain himself. Bak Jun-ho rubbed his shiny bald head in frustration. Still no leads on the kidnapping, his secretary replied, looking uneasy. Yes, how he bypassed modern security systems to broadcast remains a mystery. They did, however, have some preliminary analysis. Since no one with wave-related abilities has ever appeared before, we believe it is highly probable he has a highly skilled technological assistant behind the scenes. That was their current speculation. An assistant? Then that person is probably the one making the bombs, the secretary said gravely. One more thing I would like to add, he seems obsessed with Stardust. All eyes immediately shifted to the blonde heroine. From scattered clues at the crime scenes, they could deduce that he intentionally left a message aimed at her. In this case, it was confirmed that he even directly referenced her through the villain's words to Seoul's A-class hero Stardust. Bak Jun-ho asked directly, how did it feel meeting him face to face? He explicitly targeted you, Stardust. She stood slightly and offered her assessment. He seems like someone psychologically compelled to toy with people's hearts. Moreover, he has the capability to organize large-scale terrorist attacks. He is a genuinely dangerous villain. 2 days later, following the recent bombing incident, Kim Dane lay in bed in his room, groaning, "Oh God, I am dying." He forced himself to sit up and crawled to the kitchen to grab something to eat. As he gulped down a bottle of orange juice, a sudden voice rang out. "Are you at it again?" Kim Dane flinched, spitting out some juice in surprise, and quickly explained, No, that is not it. Seo-eun, I am not like that." This was the first proper introduction to the girl, Han Seo-eun, the genius with superintelligence. At first, he still was not accustomed to her calling him and Big Brother as she did in the original story. According to the original story, in the future she would grow up to become an S-class villain, a genius hacker. Well, that was in the original story, but for now, he had kept the girl by his side. She was fuming, causing a commotion. "This is my home, do not act like it belongs to you," she snapped. In truth, the two of them were at Han Seo-eun's secret base. Dane chuckled lightly. "Ha ha. Do not worry, living expenses and everything else are on me." Han Seo-eun promptly silenced him with a sharp gesture. "Shush. Just drink quietly." "Got it." Kim Dane smiled softly at her adorable threat, gently ruffling her hair. All right, got it." The warm moment was brief before she shyly pulled him along. Something else has come up. Hurry." The doors to the advanced electronics room opened and then closed behind them. Han Seo-eun sat before a state-of-the-art control panel. "Remember the girl Lee Subin I mentioned before? She is our candidate for assistant." Kim Dane did not need to think twice. The girl active on the deep web. I think she is a fan of mine." She typed a few commands and pointed to the screen. "Look, she is here." A broadcaster's voice rang out. Followers of Egoistic are causing a hostage-taking terrorist incident in central Incheon. Bombs have been planted in the building. Dane leaned closer to the screen, astonished. What the hell, these maniacs, she is being held hostage there. Han Seo-eun pointed to the trembling gunman. No, the masked girl there. The broadcaster continued, Egoistic's followers have declared no negotiations, only a desire for terror and death. Police confirm that at least 3 people have died so far, with approximately 300 hostages still trapped inside. Dane's voice faltered. Seo-eun, what is our principle again? The girl recalled his strict instructions, under no circumstances are civilians to be harmed. A dangerous gleam appeared in his eyes. Then we have to take care of them. Help me with that, Seo-eun. She nodded resolutely. He then began devising how to handle both the gunman and the masked girl while she monitored the scene for tactical judgment. Meanwhile, at the hostage scene, Stardust stood before the blazing building. She bit her lip, standing silently for a long moment, then spoke into her radio headquarters, requesting permission to breach. The response denied her request. Wait for orders. After police complete final negotiations, you will be allowed to breach, with authorization to eliminate threats if necessary. The incident only intensified her hatred for him. Everything was because of that bastard. Most previous terrorist incidents had been the privilege of superpowered villains. This spectacle, though smaller in scale, caused a huge stir in the villain community. But this time, he did not rely on superpowers. He used explosives and hostage-taking as his main pressure points against the heroes. Clearly, his image of relentless dominance inspired ordinary people as well. She seethed with anger, and the next day, more criminal kidnappings erupted. Suddenly, a broadcast crackled over the radio. Stardust, Egoistic is live-streaming the scene inside on NeoTube. Check immediately. She froze. NeoTube opened on her phone, confirming it. This villain who had previously toyed with the deaths of others had appeared again. Viewers flooded in immediately. What the hell is this? The villain is live-streaming a terrorist scene. In the chat, the world's #1 villain drew only crazed comments. This is a crime scene. Yep, as long as it is not Kim Sun-yu getting released. Release Kim Sun-yu. Release Kim Sun-yu. Who is censoring this? Broadcasting it live again, the feed showed Egoistic inside the building, confronting a group dressed identically to him. They aimed their guns and shouted, "Who is there?" When they realized who had arrived, they erupted with glee. Our hero, Egoistic, has come down here in person. Egoistic, they had no idea what they were anticipating. He is here, really here. Woo, he is going to wipe out these idiots himself, they cheered. Kim Dane, however, did not look particularly pleased with these people. Damn it, I used long-distance teleportation again, and now my body feels like it has been run over by these fools. Damn it. The terrorists were confused. Egoistic. Then suddenly, a laugh echoed. Ha ha, this is interesting. Ha ha ha, they mimicked the laughter awkwardly, not understanding. Ha ha. At that moment, Han Seo-eun reported, 3 of the clock position. The guy is next to the column holding a detonator. Dane glanced at him, confirmed, and immediately ended him. The man's body was mercilessly hollowed out into a donut shape. The remaining terrorists screamed in shock. No, that is not Egoistic, it must be a disguised cop. They hastily aimed their guns at him, but before they could pull the trigger, the weapons flew from their hands. Moments later, barrels were pointed directly at each of them. Kim Dane smirked and raised his hand, activating his power. I have never had any fools like you as my subordinates. Gunfire erupted, the building belching thick smoke. Screams of agony from those hit mingled with the livestream, as chat comments oscillated between panic and rational observation. Are they on the same side? Did he just take care of them all? Wow, just killing them outright. Who is Egoistic to be this ruthless? Those lunatics, someone's dead. What are the heroes doing? The villains taking over. Ha ha ha, what will happen to those people? Who? Is this psychopath trying to kill everyone? Not to mention, Egoistic even looks handsome from behind. So many maniacs here. This is real, everyone. At this point, Stardust was finally authorized to enter. Priority is to ensure the hostages' safety from the terrorists and Egoistic, she said, immediately moving to verify. Only one person had not yet been shot, and that was the one Dane needed. Han Seo-eun's voice rang out, "Sir, save her. From my observation, she is being dragged around by the crazies. She is not participating in the terror." The girl shrank back, clutching her head, crying in a corner. "Ah, help!" Kim Dane's hand startled her into a hiccup as he tossed her mask aside. Her voice rang out. "Did I do something wrong? Did I?" Lee Subin's eyes welled up, choking on tears. "Okay, I admit it." "Sniff," she cried harder. "Okay, I admit it." Dane, impatient, said, "If you keep crying like that, you're getting a bullet." Lee Subin clamped her mouth shut. Dane turned to the hostages. Yet, with a solemn bow, he said, "I apologize. Though I did not cause this directly, I feel a deep responsibility for the imitation actions that arose because of me." The chat exploded in reaction. "Wait, what? The villain is bowing. Hold on, what is happening here?" He continued sincerely, "To all hostages and those affected by me, I will deposit compensation into your accounts. Please check. I sincerely apologize to the 3 victims who died. I will provide the highest possible compensation." Still, Dane hesitated internally, aware of the risks. "Oh man, transferring through fake accounts could easily be traced. Do not know if Seo-eun can handle it," he murmured. Han Seo-eun sighed, urging him, Go ahead and bring her back now." Apparently, the girl had agreed. Dane hoisted Lee Subin onto his shoulder. Sniff, his body seemed to crumble instantly. The effect of teleportation has my whole body trembling." Suddenly, a tremor shook the entire floor. Dane immediately recognized the only person capable of this, Stardust. She was charging in, still trying to get a precise read on the situation. A few more days of commotion passed, and at a cafe near Yeonhee University, KPS News reported that the villain would be held financially accountable. The public erupted into chaos. Egoistic bowed at the scene of the terrorist attack. Verifying the hostages' accounts is not easy. Who is he really? KPS investigates. A blonde girl sat alone at a table, eyes fixed on her phone as her fingers scrolled through the comments. Everyone was talking. Who even is Mango Stick? That name sounds legendary. Does Mango Stick only save women? When she was not acting as a hero, Stardust went by Shin Haru, a regular college student. For some reason she sighed, drained. She remembered charging recklessly into the burning building. The assault left a mark on the whole structure. As soon as she rushed in, she caught sight of Egoistic's surprised face. She locked her target immediately. "Egoistic, you bastard, I will catch you this time." She darted in a new direction. Luckily, Kim Dane's legs went limp in time and he avoided her strike. Stardust was impulsive to the point she could not react properly. Oh, damn. And just like that, she let the villain she needed to capture slip away. The more she thought about it, the angrier she felt. Shin Haru exhaled in frustration. Right then, another girl came over and pulled out a chair. "Haru, are you okay? Is the assignment too hard?" Kim Chae-yun, Haru's senior, asked gently. Haru blinked awake. "Oh no, I am fine, senior." She returned to her studies, embarrassed. "I am okay, just a little distracted." Stardust, Korea's a class hero whose civilian identity was Shin Haru, hid her hero identity with a perceptual filter so everyone thought she was just an ordinary student. Well, maybe she was not entirely ordinary. Every man in the room seemed to notice her. Lately she would been worried about something, muttering the name Egoistic over and over, circling that hateful name in her head. Everyone was selfish, she thought. A big question loomed: why did he save a hostage? Suddenly the girl beside her pinched her cheek. "Look at you making that sad face again," Chae-yun cheerfully suggested. "Forget the assignment for now, let us go get mangoes, your favorite." Haru's face lit up at the word mango, but it was immediately replaced by Egoistic's crazed expression and that twisted laugh, ha ha ha. Haru's smile fell. Chae-yun studied her closely. "Mangoes can't fix this," Haru muttered, snapping her pen in half. "Mangoes are mine." Chae-yun cooed like she was calming a child. "All right, mangoes are yours, yours alone." A volcanic anger burned inside Haru. That Mango Stick, no. Egoistic had lodged in her brain. She would make him show himself. Still, despite the fury, she cutely ate her mango ice cream. In the heart of Seoul, where the villain obsessed over the hero, an otherwise normal-looking house hid a secret. When the front door opened, another door by the foyer revealed itself. When that second door slid back, a hidden elevator appeared. Enter the elevator, punch in the code, and the doors closed as the cabin descended. Down dozens of subterranean floors lay Egostic's base. Kim Dane lounged proudly inside a glass chamber, Egu base for short. Seo-eun scowled. Why did you name someone else's house without asking, she snapped. He gave the matter a breezy shrug. Huh, why, between us, whose house is whose anyway, right, your home is my home and my home is your home. The girl pouted in disdain but did not deny it. What the heck, this is ridiculous. Suddenly, Kim Dane's knees refused to cooperate, sending a wave of pain through him that made him writhe and scream. Seo-eun scolded sharply. Stop babbling. Lying down like this is the only way you will recover, do not make such a fuss. Kim Dane whimpered, do not say anything else. Between teleporting and carrying someone along, I am exhausted twice over. Then, suddenly, he grinned mischievously. Han Seo-eun, the girl with super intelligence, was sitting on the sofa. He could not help but cast a hungry gaze at her, wondering which page she was reading. His expression reflected satisfaction. Though the reason for recruiting her as his assistant was not this, the fatigue recovery capsule was undeniably the best. Seo-eun casually gave him a thumbs up, her eyes strangely sharp. What is that about? The door suddenly opened, and the person he had risked everything to rescue stepped in. I am back. Saw the fridge was empty, so. Lee Subin asked bashfully. Does anyone want a snack? Kim Dane yelped in surprise. Wait. Are not you wanted? She beamed, recounting her ordeal cheerfully. I made sure to cover my face before going out, she said. He froze, panicking slightly. That sounded even more suspicious. Yet Seo-eun put her book down and obediently ran over. But Kim Dane immediately sensed something unusual. Was she telling him to bring the girl home to do chores? He teleported in front of her instantly. Why are you having me bring this person here? The girl unwrapped an ice cream and replied casually, I just need a little help from her. Kim Dane flinched. What? He muttered under his breath. That was something to consider carefully before letting someone involved in terrorism into your home. Seo-eun. Can you guarantee she won't start shooting in our house? She sighed. That won't happen. She said it firmly. The girl had no intention of joining the terrorists. She had only been dragged out against her will by his minions. Seo-eun then pointed directly at the girl. Sister, no, brother wait. I mean, sister, Lee Subin, right, Subin jumped. Huh, how did you know my name? Seo-eun, naturally, understood completely. I know everything. Sister Lee Subin, the girl even knows your household registration. Your parents are researchers at the Han-eun Corporation, right? Subin's face went pale. How do you know that? Seo-eun calmly explained. I read the posts you made on the deep web. Those protection programs had a lot of loopholes. Do you want revenge? She stepped closer to Lee Subin. The Han-eun Corporation. Do you want to get back at what they did to your parents? I am tracking the leaders of Han-eun too. I have suffered a lot myself. The girl spoke clearly, offering her invitation. We have to find those bastards and crush them before I feel at peace. Will you help me? Kim Dane finally understood Seo-eun's reasoning. So that was it. The other girl was also a victim of Han-eun, just like Seo-eun. When he first wanted Seo-eun to become his primary assistant, he had persuaded her with the promise of helping her take revenge. Of course, his ultimate goal was to prevent her from becoming an S-class villain in the future. But this Lee Subin character, in the original story, had not left much of an impression on him, probably just a minor role. HMPH. That might be proof she was harmless, but he still had to see whether she could actually be of use. Suddenly, he snapped awake when he saw the two girls hugging and crying. Kim Dane froze, dumbfounded, as the two of them sobbed uncontrollably. Hoo. Sister, huck. Seo-eun, he muttered, trying to keep up, but the pace of emotions was far too fast, and he alone could not match it. Seo-eun. The cool, composed image he had of her completely shattered. He fell silent, watching the two girls as they let their emotions pour out for a long while, before finally settling back into the cabin. Better just lie still for now. Later that evening, at a cozy little restaurant, everyone was quietly concerned for the young couple. The place was silent, broken only by the wife's sobs. Huck huck. Tears streamed down her cheeks as her voice trembled with desperation, searching for an answer. Why are you crying like this at me? Yet the person sitting across from her looked gloomy, glaring at her, ruining her appetite entirely. I am confessing to you. So why the sad face? The situation caught the attention of someone who promptly reported it to the police. A man, expression cold and impassive, approached their table. There is a report of assault. Come with me to the station. The man cursed under his breath. Damn it. Just let me eat a little first, then get lost. The officer, unable to wait any longer, placed a hand firmly on his shoulder. Fine. Consider this a full arrest, the man said. A flash of red light suddenly gleamed from his body. In an instant, the officer was teleported to the edge of the rooftop. The twisted voice of the man followed him. Shall we go to the station together? He sneered and delivered a contemptuous kick. Fine. But I will send you first. The officer, caught completely off guard, fell helplessly from the high floor. The man's lips curled into a cold smile. Who do you think you are, talking back to me, you pathetic cop? This was an S-class villain. Kim Hok-chul, so he was a spatial teleporter. The world spun in a daze, and a scream rang out. Did you really think killing me would change this world? Han Seo-eun, the White Witch, a fifth-tier villain, appeared with a completely different aura than her current self. Stardust could not read the hero's expression until a call snapped her back to the present. N.A., Han Seo-eun, 16 years old, a fan of orange juice, shouted. Did you drink all my orange juice again? Lee Subin, awkwardly washing dishes, spoke up. Seo. I am sorry, that was me who drank it. I will buy you more. Seo-eun, glaring at her brother, suddenly ran over to hug her. In a flash, her face brightened, a clear, cheerful smile spreading across her features. It is okay, sister. Kim Dane watched the scene with a mixture of amusement and mild disdain. He would have handled it differently. He spoke up, teasing. So. Finally giving up the whole boy disguise. Huh, the girl, annoyed, let out a sharp yell. And Kim Dane, she snapped, and he chuckled mischievously. Heh heh heh. Life passed by happily and peacefully for the three of them. Looking back at the misfortune from the original story, Han Seo-eun, with her super intelligence, was the sole survivor of the Blossom Project conducted by the Han-eun Corporation. Hundreds of children had been subjected to illegal experiments. One day, a child developed unforeseen complications, and everyone involved died except Seo-eun. The building collapsed entirely. With her body full of injuries, she escaped the facility, hiding in an underground bunker she later turned into her current hideout. She lived in solitude for many years until Kim Dane's sudden appearance. He arrived at a time when she was finally at peace. The chair clattered loudly, and Seo-eun bristled like a hedgehog, alert. Kim Dane calmly made his proposal. Do not you want to take revenge on them? You will need my help. Han Seo-eun's fearful gaze met his as he extended a friendly hand. I did not come to hurt you. This is the first step. Now I am here to save you. Unlike in the original story where her hatred eventually led Seo-eun to become an S-class villain and perish, he promised he would not let her walk the path of villainy ever again. Well, technically, since she is now his accomplice, does that make her a villain? Regardless, she had to follow the right path. Feeling Kim Dane's steady gaze, Seo-eun turned to argue back. What are you staring at? Do you even understand what you are looking at? Kim Dane's eyes shifted to Subin. Her parents had been researchers but were both deceased. She taught herself and got into a prestigious university. He was well informed about her background. As a computer engineering major, she would likely handle technical support for Seo-eun in the future. He calmly sipped his drink. Though she was a character he had not known before, and a bit suspicious, he had to admit her cooking skills were exceptional. Suddenly, Seo-eun held out a tiny spider-like device. Here, all done. External tracking sensor attached. Kim Dane frowned. Tracking? What for? The girl clicked her tongue, unimpressed. Tisk tisk, have you forgotten our line of work? She pointed to the target on the screen, the one from the villain list he had chosen. Kim Dane was stunned. The person capable of instantaneous teleportation was him. He clearly assessed the abilities. This villain could teleport unlimitedly over short distances without taking any damage. No external force could harm him. It was extremely tricky. Seo-eun laughed excitedly. The harder the opponent, the sooner he had to be dealt with. Kim Dane groaned in frustration. Do you understand how exhausting it is to teleport continuously? Seo-eun cheered him on. Get to work, egoistic. They quickly set out, heading for a small apartment tucked away in a remote area. Kim Dane crouched on a nearby low rooftop, tense and alert. Seo-eun, can I get in now? The girl urged him. What do you mean, you are not in yet, just go already. Still, he hesitated, his heart racing with tension. Was it really safe to teleport straight into the living room? What if the target was already there? Seo-eun sighed and repeated herself. I have told you countless times, shoot the bullets with the tracker attached. Even if he teleports to dodge, the tracker will still stick. Kim Dane glanced down at the gleaming gun in his hands. What? Why? She snapped, growing impatient. Because I made it faster than a bullet. You studied humanities, so you would not understand the physics even if I explained it. Just go in, he still faltered. Would not it be quicker to take him out in the street first? Seo-eun wanted to flip the table in frustration. From the start, he had never gone outside, always relying on teleportation. This plan has been researched and prepared ahead of time. Gosh, I am so impatient, she muttered, practically trembling with nerves as she gulped down a bottle of water. Lee Subin cheered her on from the side. Go, egoistic. Embarrassed, Seo-eun echoed her. Yeah. Egoistic, go for it. Kim Dane felt a surge of energy. Alright, thanks. Let us do this. He teleported directly into the criminal's apartment just as the man had finished showering. The man froze, startled by his sudden presence. HMPH. Seo-eun immediately shouted, shoot. He raised the gun and pulled the trigger. Two tiny spider-like devices shot out at impossible speeds, but as expected, Kim Hak-chol vanished instantly. Kim Dane tossed the gun aside. Damn it. Seo-eun, did the tracker stick? She asked. Seo-eun, monitoring closely, confirmed. Yes. Subin, report his position. Subin quickly pinpointed him. He was now 500 meters east. Without hesitation, Kim Dane followed the directions. Okay, he muttered and suddenly appeared in the middle of the street. Huh, what is that? Bystanders quickly recognized him. Is not that egoistic? Huh, that is really him. Kim Dane frowned, scanning his surroundings. Damn it. This is not in the plan. His appearance instantly went viral across social media. At Yeonhee University, Haru was focused on her studies, unaware of the chaos unfolding. A voice crackled over the radio. Egoistic has appeared in the city. Stardust, the hero, prepared to depart under association orders. Panicked, Haru jumped up. What? All eyes in the classroom turned to her. Ah, sorry everyone, she hastily packed her things and rushed out. Excuse my abruptness. She darted away, muttering, what is he up to this time? Egoistic. Seo-eun carefully checked the tracker. There, up ahead at the intersection. Kim Dane quickly spotted Kim Hak-chol staggering forward. Had he been hit by a bullet, as the traffic light turned red, Kim Dane risked everything, leaping into the road to block him. Just go, keep moving, he muttered, while Seo-eun's panicked voice rang in his ear. And Dane. In his urgency to capture the A-class criminal, he had not noticed the oncoming truck. It barreled toward him at breakneck speed. He had no time to consider whether he could react fast enough to survive. As he tried to escape, Kim Hak-chol suddenly recalled that fateful day. Hey, Kim Hak-chol, stealing our money and running away, was that really fun for you? The younger, weaker Kim Hak-chol had been helpless, only able to whimper and plead. I will pay it back, please, spare me. Feeling his pleas were not sincere enough, the gang leader shouted louder. I will pay it back. His words only irritated the leader further. And without warning, the man pressed a lit cigarette against the rope binding Kim Hak-chol. I do not need you anymore. Watching this, the boy struggled violently. No, please, I was wrong, just spare me this time. But it did not matter how much he begged, the rope burned through, and he plunged into the sea. At that moment, he had nothing left to lose. Kim Hak-chul cursed bitterly, "Damn it, you bastards," as his face neared the water. He let all his rage out in a furious scream. "I curse you all to die," and in that instant, Kim Hak-chul vanished. When the gang prepared to leave, he reappeared suddenly nearby. This bizarre phenomenon left them pale with fear. "What the?" Kim Hak-chul, meanwhile, looked down at himself in astonishment. What just happened? Once he calmed down, the gang rushed to grab him. In no time, Kim Hak-chul was completely surrounded, yet he did not move an inch. After standing still for a while, he clenched his fists in pure exhilaration. No one in the world could catch him now. Thinking this, he disappeared again, letting the pursuers collide and then flee. No one could return to the present. The truck, realizing someone was on the road, slammed on its brakes, but by the time anyone reacted, he had vanished, suddenly appearing in the cab and startling the driver half to death. Seeing Kim Dane unharmed, Kim Hak-chul seethed. Damn it, sensing the danger, he turned and fled, but even with perfect timing, Kim Dane still evaded him. Damn it, as soon as he stepped out of the truck, Kim Hak-chul teleported to a nearby rooftop. He watched cautiously, gritting his teeth in fury. So that is egoistic. Could it be that he was taking out two A-class villains without any personal grudge? The more Kim Hak-chul thought about it, the angrier he became. Clearly, he had nothing to do with this man. Below, Egoistic was surrounded by countless civilians as he moved. Yes, I am busy, so I can't say much. Oh my goodness, do not be afraid, I won't hurt anyone. Now, down to hell with you, a class villain who can teleport instantly. As soon as these words left his mouth, a wild thought struck Kim Hak-chul. Could it be that this guy specialized in hunting down villains and taking them out? Before he could fully process the idea, Egoistic had already appeared wherever Kim Hak-chul moved. Trash villains have to be wiped out, that is my rule. Come here. Today, I am taking you out. Frustrated at being tailed so persistently, Kim Hak-chul grabbed a nearby civilian in panic. Why could he still hear that guy's voice in his ear? Kim Hak-chul immediately tossed the person aside and ran. The girl had not even fallen when Egoistic gently reached out and caught her. Oh my. Are you okay? His calm, careful tone made her blush with embarrassment. Why yes, she stammered. After constantly using his short-range teleportation, Kim Hak-chul had drained almost all his energy and could no longer endure. He finally collapsed, groaning, "Why me?" Once the girl had rested, Egoistic shifted his focus to the original target, a teleporting A-class villain. Without saying a word, he pulled out a handgun and pressed it firmly against the man's temple. You have confessed your crimes yourself. Even in his unconscious state, Kim Hak-chul tried to argue back, but Egoistic only smirked. Damn, you are a villain too, or not you, yeah, but at least I am not as despicable as you, came the weak retort. Turning to the bystanders watching the scene, Egoistic raised his voice. Everyone, this worthless scum has stolen tens of billions and killed 4 innocent people. These victims were husbands, fathers, friends, sons. Do you want to forgive this cold-blooded murderer? The crowd did not hesitate. Finish him. Yes, end him. Kill him. Hearing this, Kim Hak-chul sputtered angrily. You bastard, saying, finish him, what makes you any different from me? Egoistic's lips curved into a satisfied smile. Hak-chul, the greatest crime you will commit is later becoming an S-class villain, killing hundreds, and tormenting Stardust countless times. Snapping out of his thoughts, he leveled his gaze at Kim Hak-chul, voice low and threatening. You are equating those things with what you just did, sorry, but it looks like your life ends here. Immediately after, a pained scream pierced the air, prompting Egoistic to scan the area cautiously. What caught his attention was the sheer delight on the faces of the civilians. This reaction surprised him. What the? Normally, witnessing someone shot would instill fear, screams, and chaos. Once his task was done, he stood up, bewildered by the joyful expressions of the people around him. Apart from the superpowers, this world was not much different from the one he had known before. But moments like this reminded him that he was in a very different world. People here were strange. Shaking off the thought, Egoistic set it aside, removed his hat, and offered a polite nod to the crowd. But I am the villain here. Are not you scared? Seeing his calm demeanor, the surrounding civilians hesitated slightly. Just then, a familiar voice rang out. Egoistic immediately recognized the speaker. He lifted his gaze skyward. Stardust. Damn, I have been drawing attention for too long. Stardust descended swiftly, pointing at him and scolding, "You bastard." Egoistic did not flinch, his attention fixed on the newcomer. Normally, she appeared to be a slightly aloof college girl, but as a hero, her tone shifted dramatically, like something out of a period drama. Noticing this, the simple mode filter kicked in, making her look irresistibly cute, though Stardust completely misread it. "What have you done?" she demanded. Even with her flustered excitement, Egoistic maintained his villainous composure. "What do you mean, done? I just dealt with a ruthless A-class villain, killed him and stopped a bank robbery. Nothing more than the work a hero should have done." Stardust had no argument against that. Observing her reaction, Egoistic continued calmly. "See, I have not done anything wrong. An A-class villain can be judged on the spot by a hero. Right?" Unable to counter, she changed the subject. "Egoistic, do you think you are a hero?" The question caught him off guard. "Huh, I am the villain." Saying that, he suddenly realized something. With so many people around, plenty must be recording Stardust in action and cheering her on. This was the perfect crowd. Shaking off his thoughts, he chuckled and gave a casual clap. "Indeed, Stardust. A villain like me punishing the wicked, it is technically against the law." Yet, he could not help but admire her unwavering sense of justice. Perhaps today was a good day to retreat. His words sparked murmurs among the onlookers. That is right. Are villains only supposed to hide from heroes? He sounds impressive. Honestly, she arrived late and could not even take down the teleporting guy. Egoistic did not really do anything wrong, someone whispered. Stardust could not help but feel uneasy and disheartened. Not only her, but even Egoistic could sense the world spiraling into chaos. "What? Something feels off," she murmured. Just then, Han Seo-eun's voice came through his earpiece, urging him on. "Stop rambling and just go." Startled by her insistence and the tense situation, he hurriedly clarified, No, I am not saying I am right. I will continue doing my villainous work, and Stardust can try to stop me if she wants." He paused, then slipped back into his cool, composed persona. "All right then. I guess that is it for today." With that, he activated his power and vanished. With nothing left to gawk at, the crowd dispersed, leaving Stardust standing there, deep in thought. "We should probably go too." "Yeah, let us go," she said to herself. After everyone left, she walked over to Kim Hak-chul, who was slumped and looking miserable. Back at the base, Egoistic collapsed onto the spot Han Seo-eun had prepared, shouting loudly, "Sister Subin, over here. Hurry." Lee Subin rushed over, alarmed. "What is going on?" she asked. Sitting down, the girl assessed the situation and explained, "It is a side effect from the teleportation power." After examining him, both girls worked together to drag him back into the room. 1. 2. Just then, the phone in his pocket vibrated. A post about the afternoon's events had appeared on an open forum, gauging public opinion. Who is cooler? The awesome Egoistic or the old-fashioned Stardust? Definitely Egoistic in my book. That evening, Stardust sat quietly on top of some building, reading the post. She could not hide her disappointment after finishing it. Sitting atop that building, Stardust found herself recalling some painful moments from her past, back when she was just Shin Haru, a 17-year-old high school student. One tragic memory came rushing back. "No, Mom. Dad." She had cried out, helpless. A smug thief, holding the wallet he had just stolen, should have obediently handed it over, but instead, he lingered, enjoying her despair. After observing the fruits of his crime for a while, he drew a handgun and threatened her. "Blame your foolish parents," he sneered. But at that moment, Shin Haru had nothing left to lose. She was not afraid at all. The thief had not yet shown the expression she had hoped would make him regret his actions. Then, unexpectedly, he laughed and put the gun away. "Lucky. Very lucky, huh?" With that, he discarded his cigarette and turned to leave. Shin Haru, left behind with her parents' lifeless bodies, was powerless and could only collapse into tears. If only I had the power to protect mom and dad. No matter how much I regret it now, it won't change what happened. Mom. Dad. I will end that bastard, she declared through her sobs. Yet, all she could do was sit beside them and cry her heart out. Then, the dark sky was pierced by a flash of light. Moments later, a meteor streaked down into the narrow alley. Shin Haru, still weeping, looked up at the strange glow. A blinding beam struck her directly, and the alleyway filled with an otherworldly radiance. When the light faded, Shin Haru had lost consciousness, and her black hair had turned golden. The next day, after resting at the secret base, Kim Dane finally opened his eyes. Han Seo-eun had been stationed nearby, waiting for this moment, and immediately cheered, "You are awake." Before he could even respond, the energetic girl scolded him playfully. "Seo-eun. After all that, you even let me enjoy a hot meal." Suddenly, she handed him her phone. "Eat while you listen." Immediately, she read aloud the article displayed on the screen. A summary of the facts about a rank villain Egoistic. "Ryan, just state the facts about a rank villain Egoistic." She carefully recounted his countless feats. He eliminated a rank villain Life and S-rank villain Zodiac. For the Korean public, already fed up with disasters, he even orchestrated and contained special situations at the observatory without casualties. Just when it seemed the article would end, she continued, he also suppressed violent cultists and hostage-taking terrorists, compensating all the hostages afterward. Pausing briefly, Han Seo-eun read the rest of the report. The A-rank teleporting villain remained at large for a long time. Despite bounties, officials judged capturing him as extremely difficult. Truly, Egoistic hardly seems like a villain. Feeling this was not shocking enough, she added with a grin, 7,842 likes and only 12 dislikes. "What do you think?" Dane, caught off guard, hastily asked, "And what about Stardust?" Hearing her name, Han Seo-eun could not hide her annoyance. "That's Stardust, check the comments right below." Without waiting for him to grab the phone, she read aloud. "Honestly, Egoistic's even better than Stardust. Stardust has not done anything notable so far." Dane choked on his meal, stunned. But she was not done. She continued, "King Egoistic has already taken down 3 A-rank villains." After collecting himself, Dane stammered, "So why is Stardust getting criticized?" Han Seo-eun paused thoughtfully before replying, "Maybe because among the 3 A-rank heroes, she is the least active. Shadow Walker or Icicle alone have saved dozens, even hundreds, of people. Stardust has not done much at all." After finishing, the girl hesitated, watching Dane's reaction closely. "See, that is how people react." Hearing those comments, Kim Dane could not hide his despair. "Is that how most people feel?" The shock was not over. Han Seo-eun then flashed the screen, showing a ridiculous mango meme. "Yeah, Egoistic even has a proper fan club." That sentence finished him off. Dane dropped to his knees, ripping at his hair. No way. A fan club for a villain, these people are insane. Unable to accept it, he sprang up and started plotting. "All right. I can't leave this alone." After a moment of thought, Kim Dane decided, "We will start preparing the next terror stunt." "Seo-eun, Subin, can you two handle it?" The two girls froze when he suddenly pointed at them. Again, me. Despite their reluctance, Dane's excitement was infectious. "We have to show Korea what a real villain is and who the real heroes are. Wait for it, Stardust, I will bring you back to the top." At that moment, the person in high spirits was savoring a perfect mango frappuccino. As she enjoyed it, Shin Haru noticed something outside. The cherry blossoms had burst into bloom, painting the scene romantic and poetic, but her mind drifted back to the online comments. Being a hero is too grand. Only after the job is done, maybe she could not catch the teleporter. Thinking back on those words, Shin Haru sighed. Negative thoughts came flooding in like tides, washing at her resolve. The public was ecstatic over Egoistic, the villain who wiped out other villains, while heroes, who handle things by the book, got criticized. Refusing to sink into that negativity, Shin Haru slapped her own face a few times. "Snap out of it." Just then, a familiar voice called out. "Haru, why are you slapping yourself?" Hearing that voice, she blinked awake and saw Kim Chae-yun smiled gently as she sat down beside her. Her senior smiled and offered, "It is such a beautiful day, let us take a break." Tempted, Shin Haru agreed without hesitation. "Yeah, when did the cherry blossoms get so full?" Chae-yun pulled out her phone, clearly excited. "Oh, by the way, want to see this? It is trending now, maybe you have not seen it, Haru." She showed a bouncing mango image. "See, is not it funny? Lately I think Egostics got real charm." Seeing that, Shin Haru gritted her teeth in frustration. Even senior Chae-yun liked him. As she scrolled, Chae-yun suddenly spotted something. "Huh, what is this?" She lifted her phone. "Haru, East is live right now." Surprised, Shin Haru fished out her phone. A familiar voice blared through the stream. "Egostic is targeting Stardust again. All units to the association deployed to the scene immediately." The moment the announcement ended, Shin Haru slammed the table and bolted upright. "Chae-yun, I have got to go, sorry." Without waiting for a response, she shot out of the cafe. "Huh, Haru," Chae-yun called after her in surprise. On the run, Shin Haru vowed, "Wait for me, Egostic. This time I will catch you." Meanwhile, on some cliffside, a familiar screen appeared and Egostic's voice echoed. "Long time no see. Hello, everyone, I am the villain Egostic." As soon as he introduced himself, he watched the comment feed explode. What would their reactions be this time? It was insane. Did they treat this like a live entertainment event? Wasting no time on idle chatter, Egostic pulled out his phone and spoke to the livestream with a teasing tone. "Lately there has been a lot of news about me. Huh, I am not a hero, I am a villain. I even have a fan club." He flashed a sly grin as he angled the phone toward the train tracks. "Maybe you are all misunderstanding. I really am the villain." He pointed at the hostages behind him, then toward the approaching train. "Oh look, the train's almost here. You watching, Stardust?" A comment popped up almost immediately. "He is such a hardcore fan of Stardust." Huh, ignoring it, he set the rules. "The game is simple. You choose." He angled the camera to show the tracks and dialed up the pressure. "Keep the lever in place to save one person at the cost of 5, or pull the lever and one will survive." As he spoke, he thought of Lee Subin at the controls and raised the stakes. "Do not act rashly. If you try to pull these people off the tracks, I will flip the train. Understand, Stardust?" After laying out the rules, Egostic invited her choice. "You only get one decision, pull the lever." No sooner had he finished than Stardust appeared. "You bastard, Egostic." She did not hesitate, she dove straight down toward the tracks, and he watched with satisfaction. "Here she comes." Stardust. Studying the hostages, she began calculating, if she tried to save them, the passengers on the train would be in mortal danger. "Think, Stardust, how can you save everyone?" Seeing her hesitation, Egostic without a shred of conscience taunted her. "Come on, the Pentagon is entering the station. What will our Stardust choose?" The chat exploded with predictions. People assumed Stardust would pull the lever. But Egostic did not believe the Stardust he knew would act that way. At that moment Lee Subin cried out in panic over the earpiece. "Dane, she is running toward me, what should I do?" Watching Stardust sprint, he tried to calm Subin. "It is live, turn off your mic for safety." "Do not worry, she won't hurt you, Subin." That reassurance steadied Subin, and Egostic kept playing his role. "All right, mic back on." "Wait, what is she doing? Can she really do this? She is going to destroy herself, stop." Despite the warnings, Stardust and the train collided. Drawing on every reserve of strength and willpower, she braced herself, trying to hold on. But the train suddenly accelerated beyond expectation, and Egostic was taken aback. "It is moving faster," he panicked. Subin, wake up." But Subin was still unconscious, no response. He had not anticipated this. Watching Stardust stand stunned at the base of the embankment, Egostic pushed his psychological assault further. One by one, the worst-case scenarios played out in Egostic's mind like a movie. Could it really be that if the people tied to the tracks were killed, no matter how heroic Stardust's path might appear, her image as a courageous superhero would be completely shattered? Thinking of that possibility, Egostic tugged at his hair anxiously. What should I do? At that moment, the train was barreling closer to the unfortunate girl. Seeing this, Stardust gritted her teeth and poured more power into her efforts than ever before. The train did not slow. She pushed with every ounce of strength she had. Even as the front of the train crumpled almost beyond recognition, it still did not lose speed. From his perch above, Egoistic stared at her, heart hammering. Please. Please. As the train closed in on the hostages, all he could do was silently pray. Then, something caught his attention. After all her efforts, Stardust finally managed to stop the train and the entire ordeal had been captured on camera. Witnessing this unbelievable feat, Egoistic's excitement was uncontainable. She did it. She actually stopped it. Finally, a temporary escape from the dead end. Amid the chaotic, raw scene, he was brimming with anticipation. Come on, show yourself. Stardust. Would she be okay? The train had been moving too fast. Watching the live feed on his phone, Egoistic's mind raced. Had she been hurt? Was this it? But then, in that very moment, the familiar figure of Stardust appeared. Seeing the girl he had been waiting for, safe and unharmed, he could not hide his thrill and cheered aloud. A moment later, he quickly reminded himself of his role. Wait, no. She stopped it. She actually stopped it. She held out. My plan did not account for this. Focusing on the stunned Stardust below, Egoistic mentally coaxed himself. She had found her own solution to this impossible dilemma. That is right. His proclamation caused the comment section to erupt once again. Reading each line, he could barely contain his excitement. Yes, this was exactly the kind of reaction he had hoped for. See that? Bursting with pride, he could not help but praise the girl below again and again. This is the hero known as Stardust. Watch her powers ignite purely out of the desire to save others. After exhausting herself, Stardust finally collapsed, unable to hold on any longer. Seeing this, worry flooded Egoistic's eyes. Forgetting any concern for appearances, he leapt down to check on her. Approaching the girl, he felt a pang when he heard her mutter in irritation. You damn Egoistic. No matter how vexing the remark, he focused on the present. All right, Stardust. You did exceptionally well, in ways I could never have imagined. This is your victory. After speaking, he brushed her face gently, letting her rest, then offered a few final instructions. I am leaving now. Rest well. Soon, other heroes will arrive to assist you. Once Stardust had a moment to recover, he stood, removed his hat, and expressed his condolences to the watching crowd. Yes, this concludes my little terrorist operation. Thank you all for observing. Following his announcement, the screen went black, and a shocking comment appeared. What is with those two? Why's the atmosphere so vague? The next morning, at the secret base, Han Seo-eun burst in full of energy, running around wildly. Wake up, you sleepyheads. Kim Dane and Lee Subin, still drained from yesterday's events, could barely move. Oh, good grief. Morning, Seo-eun. Seeing their exhausted state, the girl paused for a moment, thinking, just one terrorist incident and they are already wiped out. Not bothering to scold them, Han Seo-eun gestured toward the table laden with food. Come on. Their eyes lit up like headlights at the sight of the steaming dishes. Seo-eun, did you make all this? Fully awake now, Dane walked over and ruffled her hair in praise. Thank you, Seo-eun. It is nothing, she said shyly, then playfully pinched his side. While Kim Dane flinched, Han Seo-eun quickly took her seat at the table, urging, eat fast, or it will get cold. Soon, the three of them were seated together, diving into breakfast. Enjoy your meal, she added cheerfully. Everyone focused on savoring the food, but as they ate, Han Seo-eun's attention was caught by the nearby remote. She grabbed it, wolfed down her meal, and dashed to the sofa to turn on the TV. Let us see the latest news. The broadcast started, and she excitedly pointed at the screen, eager to see how yesterday's exploits had been reported. Next story. Even Dane, mid-bite, could not hide a sense of pride. His image as a villain had clearly been cemented, and of course, Stardust's heroic feat had elevated her reputation as well. A double win, hitting 2 targets with 1 arrow. Just then, Han Seo-eun suddenly burst into laughter at the screen, her strange excitement leaving Dane puzzled. What is going on? She pointed at the screen, shouting with excitement. They are saying you two are dating. At that moment, the commentator's voice filled the room. This comes after a rank hero Stardust stopped the runaway train yesterday morning. First, please take a look at this photo. The screen showed the moment Dane brushed Stardust's face to let her rest. The commentator continued, from this, it is easy to see that the villain and the hero look just like a romantic couple. Elsewhere, Shin Haru watched the entire broadcast, her anger boiling over. She crushed her cup in frustration and shouted at Dane, who was equally irate, "What the hell is this?" The news anchor announced that in South Korea, the most popular villain was egoistic, while the rising superhero Stardust was quickly gaining attention. The recent dating rumors between the two had become incredibly hot. Reporter back, what is causing this romantic rumor to explode like this? Pointing at the screen, reporter back continued, take a look here, do you notice anything? The anchor replied, yes, this line right here, Stardust's name. Back slammed his hand on the desk and stood up, raising his voice. No, it is not just a simple name, it is, for you, Stardust. This is a gift he gave her, and that is the meaning behind it. Next, the screen displayed Kim Dane kneeling on one knee beside an unconscious Shin Haru. He spoke softly, all right, Stardust, you did extremely well in a way I never expected. This is your victory. Back pointed to this scene and firmly declared, look closely, if this is not love, then what is? As Mango Stick spoke his final words, Stardust quietly closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep. Back added, if these two are not dating, then what else would you call it? Elsewhere, Shin Haru sat alone in her classroom, watching the segment. Her mood was dark, her chin resting in her hand. Are people still sane? Dating that crazy villain, absolutely impossible. She sat in silence for a moment, then asked herself, why do I feel this way? Clearly, I harbor hatred and resentment toward him. Yet now there is this confusing feeling mixed in. As she brooded, a girl approached. Kim Chae-yun, with a compassionate look, said to Shin Haru, Haru, your spirit looks exhausted from all the studying. She then pulled out an ice cream flyer and smiled brightly. Today, let me heal you. Sliding the flyer aside, Chae-yun's eyes sparkled with emotion as she said, just trust me, today we are going out to have some fun. Meanwhile, the sound of whining echoed from another room. Go on, go on. Han Seo-eun was lying on the floor, throwing a fit, eager to go out. Lee Subin did not know how to respond. Seo-eun, stop whining like that. I mean it, we have already had 2 terrorist events, so now I want to go out and play, Han Seo-eun insisted. Kim Dane chimed in, Subin, Seo-eun, why do not we all go out together? The moment she heard this, Han Seo-eun immediately sat up, stopping her tantrum. She shouted joyfully in celebration. Subin smiled too. Kim Dane picked up a flyer for the ice cream festival, just like Kim Chae-yun had earlier, and thought to himself with a smile, this is not in the original story. But it should not be a problem, right? Meanwhile, Shin Haru's mood had improved, and she looked forward to the outing. The ice cream festival was bustling everywhere you looked, there were people, and the atmosphere was full of life. Kim Dane remarked, wow, even on a regular weekday afternoon, this place is packed. Han Seo-eun, holding an ice cream cone, looked at Kim Dane in confusion. Why are you wearing black again? He chuckled. Seo-eun, men have to wear black, that is just how it is. She laughed. What are you talking about? Kim Dane was surprised. Wow, she is smiling so brightly. And she even calls me, hey, you, she must really be happy. Han Seo-eun suddenly pointed ahead, exclaiming, here's the rice-flavored ice cream. She immediately ran excitedly to the ice cream stand. Kim Dane turned to Lee Subin and said with a smile, going out like this is really worth it. Subin smiled happily and replied, yeah, that is right. She really looks happy. Lee Subin had activated her personal perception filter, something she had already experienced once when Dane recruited her. Kim Dane scooped up a spoonful of ice cream and, surprised, exclaimed, oh, this is really good. As he took another bite, he offered, Subin, you should try some too. Blushing, Subin shyly looked at the spoon of ice cream being offered to her. Han-eun, standing nearby, innocently asked, what is wrong? Kai. Go ahead and eat. Stammering, Subin muttered, wait just a moment. She hesitated for a bit, then slowly leaned forward toward the spoon, thinking, is not this kind of like an indirect kiss? Finally, she tasted the ice cream, and a look of pure delight spread across her face. This is really good. Han Seo-eun, having finished her own cone, happily ran toward another ice cream stand. There it is, the mango ice cream, Kim Dane quickly called after her. Hey, wait for me. With bright, excited eyes, Han Seo-eun stared at the ice cream behind the glass and eagerly said to the vendor, I will have one cone, please. The vendor handed over the ice cream with a smile. Wow, she looks just like her parents, so cute. Kim Dane was momentarily speechless. What did he just say? He quickly shut his eyes and accepted it graciously. Ha ha. Yes, that is right. Standing nearby, Lee Subin's face turned bright red. Han Seo-eun looked back and teasingly smirked at Kim Dane. Wow, you really do look older, huh? Kim Dane, unwilling to lose the playful banter, shot back, maybe it is just your height, not me. Han Seo-eun huffed, unable to argue. The vendor placed the ice cream in front of them. Here you go, one cone for the little girl, and 2 cups for the others. As everyone took their ice cream, Kim Dane asked Han Seo-eun with a smile, did you order this for us too? She replied proudly, of course, you're the leader of the Mango Club, so you have to eat mango ice cream. Kim Dane blinked in confusion at this new identity. Mango Club. Glancing at the vendor's smile, he felt awkward and muttered, ah. Nothing. Suddenly, Kim Dane's eyes widened in surprise. The vendor had revealed a design on the back of his shirt, a depiction of Kim Dane in his egoistic persona. The vendor chuckled, I made it myself. Looks good, right? Kim Dane could only stare, speechless. Han Seo-eun enthusiastically gave a thumbs up. Absolutely cinematic. A while later, the 3 of them sat on a bench, enjoying their ice cream and relaxing. Suddenly, Kim Dane noticed something. Seo, did you know I used to be a top-notch dart thrower? He prepared to show off his skills. I will show you what I can do. Han Seo-eun, as if sensing his intent, teased him. Hey, are you planning to cheat using your remote control powers? Kim Dane froze on the spot. A staff member at the dart booth spoke up. We have an event going on right now. She explained, if you hit all 10 targets, you will win this 10-layered ice cream. Han Seo-eun quickly countered, I actually like second place better. That stuffed bear looks way cuter. Kim Dane asked the vendor, but if I win first, I can choose freely, right? The vendor nodded. Yes. Confident, Kim Dane turned to Han Seo-eun. Seo, listen up. I am going to get it for you. He pretended to concentrate, then discreetly added a bit of his power and hurled the dart. Just at that moment, Kim Chae-yun also approached the dart booth, asking the staff how much each throw cost, immediately catching Kim Dane's attention. He thought to himself, huh. That face looks familiar. Then, Kim Dane suddenly froze. He remembered who it was. Kim Chae-yun, the upperclassman from Shin Haru's university. Kim Chae-yun spoke up, wow, Haru, they even have the 10-layer ice cream as a prize. Another female voice chimed in, let me try to get one for you, okay. Han Seo-eun noticed Kim Dane had been frozen in place and asked curiously, what are you doing, just throw already. At that moment, Subin and Han Seo-eun finally realized that Shin Haru had appeared. The 3 of them immediately broke into a cold sweat, not daring to make a sound. Shin Haru glanced at the 3 of them. Her eyes landed on Kim Dane, who was still frozen in place, poised awkwardly to throw the dart. Kim Chae-yun beamed brightly, her excitement radiating as she pointed ahead. Haru, over there they have rice-flavored ice cream. The 2 of them approached the ice cream stand, and Kim Chae-yun savored the flavor with sheer delight. This is so delicious. In high spirits, she looked at Shin Haru. Haru, try some of this. Shin Haru leaned forward, bringing the ice cream to her lips. After tasting it, her cheeks flushed a soft pink, and her eyes lit up with excitement. It is really good. Kim Chae-yun, holding her own ice cream cup, smiled in satisfaction. Finally, your expression has relaxed, Haru. It seems something had caught both of their attention simultaneously. Kim Chae-yun reached for Haru's hand, her heart full of glowing warmth. Come on, over there is your favorite flavor of ice cream, Haru. Their eyes landed on the mango-flavored stand, and Shin Haru's gaze sparkled with pure delight. But shortly after, her mood darkened slightly, her head tilting down. The vendor, pleased, turned to reveal the back of his shirt, which bore a miniature caricature. "I made this myself," he said. Kim Chae-yun applauded enthusiastically. "Oh my gosh, that is adorable." The two of them then sat down on a nearby bench to rest in the cool shade. Kim Chae-yun stretched comfortably. "This is great." She tilted her head toward Shin Haru. "You like it too, do not you?" Transitioning from a sulky mood to a smile, Haru replied softly, "Yeah, of course, sis." Her eyes closed as she savored the moment. Beneath the towering cherry blossom tree, a few petals drifted down gently, and Shin Haru thought about how long it had been since she would had a chance to simply enjoy the scenery. A small smile played at her lips, eyes shut, savoring the peaceful moment. Soon, Kim Chae-yun pointed toward the next food stall. "Haru, after finishing this, let us try that one." Shin Haru watched her intently, intrigued. "Darts?" she asked, immediately brightening. "Sounds fun." Colorful balloons were neatly arranged on top of the stall, creating a festive vibe. A friendly staff member handed them the darts, explaining, "There is an event. If you hit all 10, you will win the 10-layer ice cream." Shin Haru looked at the staff politely. "Okay, thank you." Her characteristic blue eyes scanned the scene, landing on 3 players who were sweating nervously. They look like a young couple, she thought. But why is the girl's hair silver? Should not it match her granddaughter's age better? She looked longer at Kim Dane, feeling a sense of familiarity about him. Meanwhile, Kim Chae-yun, standing behind her, called out excitedly, "Haru, go ahead. Throw it." Haru responded promptly, "Okay." Shin Haru launched a dart, leaving a brilliant streak of orange light. Kim Chae-yun clapped with glee, right on target with one throw. Kim Dane, watching her sweat glisten, felt a twinge of worry. He thought to himself, Stardust's power is monstrous, her ability to fly is incredible. And the longer he observed her, the more he realized that her strength was not just raw power. Using a tool in his hand to focus, he noted that Shin Haru now performed a near-perfect throw, her physical abilities extraordinarily heightened. Excited voices cheered, 2 hits already. Kim Dane lowered his gaze, slightly disappointed, thinking that while her power erupted in moments of need, over time, she would gradually become a superhuman, surpassing normal limits. Haru threw darts with a joyful expression. Not only had her senses sharpened, but her instincts had developed as well, allowing her to immediately notice anything unusual. She found it curious that Kim Dane seemed dejected, and she wondered why, silently observing him as he pondered how to prove something to himself. Right at that moment, she could almost sense it. Could he really be egoistic? If he revealed his identity now, the image of Shin Haru as a superhuman would instantly flash in her mind, and she would throw him straight into prison. Shin Haru and Kim Chae-yun embraced in delight, leaving him completely stunned. A dart, thrown at incredible speed by Shin Haru, struck a balloon dead on. Kim Chae-yun, standing nearby, beamed with pride. "Haru, you are amazing, 10 hits out of 10. Haru, hearing this, immediately turned shy. "It is nothing, really, just a small thing." The staff member handed them a 10-layer ice cream. "Here's your 10-layer ice cream." She glanced at Kim Dane with a hint of teasing. Are not you going to throw?" Kim Dane froze for a moment before responding. "Oh, wow, the person next to me was so good I got distracted just watching. I will throw now." He turned toward Han Seo-eun, forcing a nervous smile. "Seo-eun, watch this. I will show you my dart-throwing skills." The girl encouraged him but looked a little doubtful. "Hurry up." Kim Dane grabbed 10 darts, thinking anxiously, no need to use powers, just throw a few and be done with it. He threw them all quickly and decisively. To everyone's astonishment, all 10 darts hit the 10 balloons perfectly. Eyes widened, mouths dropped. Kim Dane, meanwhile, could not believe it himself. Kim Chae-yun, holding the 10-layer ice cream, stared at him with surprise. "Wow, this guest is incredible too." A plush toy was brought out by the staff member. "You said you preferred the stuffed bear over the first prize, right? Here it is, ready for you." But Kim Dane chose to bolt immediately. The staff member raised her hand. "Wait a minute," the 3 of them ran off, laughing awkwardly. "It is fine. We are going now," Han Seo-eun chimed in quickly. "Yeah, let us go." Kim Chae-yun, holding the long ice cream, smiled brightly. We will carry it over to Haru for you. Shin Haru, clutching the plush, nodded. Okay. Halfway there, the tall ice cream toppled over, sending layers of colorful scoops flying straight toward him. Kim Dane's eyes went wide. If even a bit touched him, it would be a total disaster. He leapt out of the way, landing face first to avoid it. Everyone rushed over in panic. Han Seo-eun gasped, "Are you okay?" Kim Chae-yun's eyes softened, her hand covering her mouth in concern. He quickly reassured them, "I am fine, do not worry." Slowly, Kim Dane got to his feet, rubbing his neck. "I overreacted a bit, just had to dodge slightly. Now, let us go," the girls urged, slightly impatient. "Hurry, or we will all get into trouble." Sweat ran down Kim Dane's face. Midway through, a thick, ominous smoke rolled in from behind. "Move, now, Shin Haru," and he turned to face the strange sight. A sky tinted crimson was filled with dark, gray smoke. People scattered in panic. From it emerged a massive, green-haired crocodile with razor-sharp teeth, towering forward as it let out a deafening roar. "Stardust, Stardust, get out here," the system announced, Crocodile Man, a rank villain. Kim Dane pulled the two girls close, shielding them. "Stay here," he instructed, his gaze sharp and wary. In his mind, he reasoned, according to the original timeline, this guy was not supposed to appear yet. Why is he suddenly active now? Shin Haru seemed to grasp the situation immediately, rushing forward. Kim Chae-yun gasped. "Haru." Pain flashed across Kim Dane's expression. "If we run back to the guild for the perception filter now, it will be way too late." In the original story, Stardust exposing her face marked the start of her path toward misfortune and decline. Seeing a woman with golden hair, hiding her face, was strictly forbidden. Any appearance would inevitably lead to trouble in the canonical timeline. A sharp pain shot through Kim Dane's body. He ground his teeth against it. "Even if it collapses, I won't let that happen," he bellowed. Suddenly violet streaks of light erupted around him, growing brighter and more intense by the second. His everyday clothes flew off and scattered. When the light cleared, he stood there in a sharply tailored suit and a stylish hat, an image completely unlike his usual self. "I will pick up my things later," he said. "Seo-eun," the girl behind him asked, startled. "What are you doing?" He did not answer her gently. He began issuing orders. "Get the broadcast ready. I need you on the feed." Han Seo-eun sat there clutching the plush toy, wide-eyed as Dane went into full performance mode. He paced, shouting lines into the microphone. "Egoistic here, if Stardust does not show up, I will tear this place apart." A gleam of gold light flickered in his eyes as the speakers came alive. "Hello, viewers." A black speaker boomed his voice out into the city. "The true villain of our age," Kim Dane said into the mic, bearing a smile that revealed his teeth. "The common enemy of the Republic of Korea, Egoistic." His voice echoed from the speakers. "You dared trespass into my territory, you crocodile." The green-scaled behemoth below, furious, bristled and prepared to act. "What the?" The message boards exploded. "Mango stick, mango stick, mango stick," someone chanted. "Oh my god, is he Mango Stick?" another account shouted. "He just admitted to being the common enemy," came one reply. "Was not he a hero before? I do not get it." People laughed and compared the scene to a wild festival. The crowd went nuts. Kim Dane's face hardened. He glanced down, low and cold. "You die here now," he hissed. 3 years earlier, inside a corporate lecture hall, a middle-aged man addressed a group. "This device in front of you is indispensable to heroes," he said, gesturing to a sleek machine. He explained, "This thing is the perception filter, aka the filter. When you go inside and come back out, for a limited time the filter is applied to your face. Only faces that have the filter applied will cause viewers to experience recognition confusion." He continued, "But if someone who already knows your real face sees you unmasked, the filter won't work." "Got it?" The audience answered in unison, "Yes." His expression turned grave. Gripping the microphone, he warned, "Even an idiot should understand how dangerous it is for a hero's face to be exposed. Your career, your whole life could be ruined. Remember that well." Shin Haru sat below and answered firmly, "Yes." Back in the present, the street had become a wasteland, choked with smoke and dust. Kim Chae-yun and Shin Haru were desperately dodging along the roadside. Shin Haru turned her head, scanning the scene with a worried expression. She thought to herself, it would be too late to run back to headquarters for the perception filter. What should I do? Suddenly she clenched her fists, eyes hardening with resolve. Then she glanced at the panicking crowd and wondered, should she just run like a civilian? With that thought discarded, she let her tied-up hair fall free. Her golden hair fluttered in the wind. Her face grew resolute, she balled her hands into fists and stepped forward without hesitation. Kim Chae-yun cried out in alarm. Haru, when a group of people nearby suddenly looked at their phones and shouted excitedly, "Egostick! Egostick is here!" Shin Haru froze and spun around, bewildered. "What?" she blurted. The true villain of this era, the common enemy of the Republic of Korea. Egostick, came the announcement. Kim Dane stood on the rooftop of a building. Two gigantic speakers flanked him, blasting sound at full power. Below him loomed a green crocodile monster. Kim Dane roared, "You dared trespass into my territory, you little croc!" The crocodile blinked in surprise. "What?" Kim Dane grinned savagely, pointed at the beast, and said, "You die here now." Then Kim Dane grabbed the microphone and thought, no. Absolutely not. In the original story, Stardust suffered so much after her face was revealed. A hero's civilian life matters. He spoke with angry force to the crocodile beast. "You know that, do not you? You damn croc!" The crocodile snarled back at him. "What?" it snapped. Kim Dane grinned cruelly, pointed at the monster and said, "You die here." The croc suddenly lunged up toward Kim Dane with the speed of a gale. "Why do you keep dragging Stardust into this?" he barked. The chat filled with comments. A Stardust fan showed up. "There is the croc." The crocodile charged at him in a fury, shouting, "I will kill you." It scrambled up the building wall, clawing its way to the rooftop where Kim Dane stood. When it reached him, it roared aggressively, "Come here and face me." Kim Dane stepped back using his teleportation. The beast leapt, but in an instant Kim Dane teleported to its head. "What do you think you are doing?" he snapped, then slammed down on the croc's skull with a savage satisfaction. "You know my name, but you did not know I can teleport." The crocodile recoiled, flailing its limbs blindly to strike him. But every time it swung, Kim Dane vanished before its eyes. It howled in frustration, "You coward, fight me one-on-one like a real villain." Kim Dane stayed calm. "Hey, I am the villain here." Right away the chat blew up. "He is the villain, still insisting he is the villain today." Kim Dane stared at the comments, baffled. More comments. "Why is Egostick running over there?" he thought fast. "Wait, I should explain this, or people will assume I came because of Stardust." He stopped and shouted to the croc, "Hold on, listen to me." The crocodile snorted, "Fine, speak, then." Kim Dane demanded sharply, "Okay, but first tell me this. Why did you attack me all of a sudden?" The croc did not hesitate. "Obviously I targeted Stardust. You looked way too interested in her, so you are my enemy." Kim Dane froze, incredulous. "What the hell, what kind of logic is that?" The chat mocked, "That dumb villain even knows Mango Stick likes Stardust. He may not know Egostick can teleport, but he knows he likes Stardust. Ha ha. Two dudes fighting over one girl. Was not Egostick supposed to be here instead of Stardust? What is going on? How did these two get tangled up? Ha ha ha." Suddenly the crocodile jabbed an accusing claw at Kim Dane and thundered, "Besides, you said you would kill me first." The chat erupted, "Ha ha, so true." Kim Dane, stunned, shot back, "When did I ever say that?" The croc flew into a rage, its aura flaring. It roared, "You said it, how dare you step into my territory? You little croc, now you die here." The crocodile continued to interrogate Kim Dane. "You said that, did not you?" Kim Dane panicked, scrambling to defend himself. No, I did not say anything like that." Comments in the livestream popped up immediately. "Why is the croc talking so sweetly? How is that a threat?" Suddenly, the crocodile seemed to reach its limit. It let out a furious roar at Kim Dane. "I have had it, I am really losing it." It opened its long, gaping mouth, and a fireball slowly began to form inside. Kim Dane's expression instantly shifted to one of fear. Eyes wide, he thought, Is not that its ultimate skill?" Before he could even finish thinking, the beast unleashed a massive jet of flame from its mouth, scorching nearly everything in its path. Crocodileman ultimate fire-spitting skill. Luckily, Kim Dane reacted quickly, teleporting just in time to dodge the potentially fatal attack. He reappeared behind the crocodile, staring in horror at the devastation it had just caused. One hit from that and it would have been over instantly. The crocodile turned its head, eyes sharp, and hissed at him. Surprised, egoistic. Kim Dane did not hesitate. He whipped out a black cloth, and instantly countless guns emerged from it. They all shot forward toward the crocodile. His gaze cold and unwavering, Kim Dane clenched his fist and said, "See you in hell, bastard." Every gun fired simultaneously. A series of deafening explosions shook the air, and the battlefield was engulfed in smoke and debris. Kim Dane flew upward, peering through the clouds of smoke, and wondered, did I take it out? The livestream comments erupted. Oh no. Could it be that after taking all that firepower, the croc is still alive? Sure enough, the crocodile lunged out from the smoke, roaring, "You think a handful of bullets could harm me?" Suddenly, Kim Dane's mask fell off, visible on the livestream screen. Quickly, he teleported away from the phone and pulled out a gas mask, standing high above and glaring down at the beast. "No, I need to do this to catch it off guard." He tossed an unidentified object toward the crocodile. The beast, thinking little of it, opened its jaws and swallowed the object whole. It roared in frustration, "You damn mosquito swatter." Then a burst of intense light shot out from the object inside the crocodile's mouth. The beast convulsed as if electrocuted, writhing in pain, golden light crackling across its body. Kim Dane studied the scene carefully. So this is why Stardust struggled so much against its thick hide in the original story. You really thought I would not prepare for this? After taking the attack, the crocodile was drenched in blood, dazed for a moment, and then collapsed completely, unconscious. The livestream exploded with comments, Mango Stick, Mango Stick. The guild needs to officially make Mango Stick the hero, yet he still calls himself a villain. The guns Kim Dane had summoned earlier lost power and slowly fell to the rooftop. Kim Dane descended to the rooftop as well, surveying the ground littered with firearms. Kim Dane slowly gathered the guns scattered across the rooftop, his movements shaky and exhausted. He lifted his head to the sky and groaned. Damn it. That took way too much energy. I wanted to make it look cool with some extra powers, but I am completely drained. Even holding this phone is a struggle. At that moment, he remembered the livestream phone. He glanced at a comment. So you came here to take out a villain? Flustered, Kim Dane began to explain frantically. Yeah, that is right. No, everyone, I came here just because I hate that damn crocodile. Do not think I am doing this for Stardust or for the greater good. Comments flooded in, everything he says makes sense. Suddenly, a golden light descended onto the rooftop where Kim Dane stood. It was Shin Haru. She landed gracefully, standing up slowly after the spectacular descent. Shin Haru stepped closer and questioned him directly. Did you take that guy down? Kim Dane remained calm. Yeah. He was blocking the way, so I handled it. Shin Haru's expression grew wary. She looked at him coldly and asked, why? Kim Dane shrugged and replied nonchalantly, why? Because he kept yelling that Stardust and I were all flustered and ambiguous around each other. It annoyed me. Shin Haru blinked in surprise. What? Kim Dane put on his headset and continued, smiling faintly at her. Listen, Stardust. Next time something like today happens, do not just think, oh, I will show my face and flaunt it. Once your face is exposed, life's going to be really hard for you. Shin Haru stared at him, a mixture of surprise and confusion on her face. Kim Dane then picked up the livestream phone and said, alright, that is it for today's broadcast. That situation was too exhausting. I am completely wiped out. Big event next month, everyone stay tuned. Comments immediately appeared. What did they say on the stream? Why'd they cut the mic? Before anyone could react, Kim Dane vanished in a flash of light. See you. Shin Haru reached out and said, wait. Her expression held a trace of sadness. Meanwhile, Kim Dane had teleported home, but blood suddenly spurted from his mouth. His face was expressionless, almost lifeless. Han Seo-eun and Subin rushed over, alarmed. Dane, are you okay? Kim Dane collapsed to the ground. Back on the rooftop, Shin Haru spotted Kim Dane's mask and picked it up carefully. She examined it, deep in thought. How did he know what I was thinking? Why? Who exactly are you, egoistic? Haru was sitting in front of her computer screen, scrolling through the news. Two breaking stories from KBS News flashed before her eyes. Exclusive: chaos at the ice cream festival. A level villain Crocodileman has been captured. He was subdued by egoistic and transferred to the Eastern Hero Detention Facility. The building was destroyed by the crocodile 4 hours ago. Egoistic's speed is unmatched. So, is a level villain egoistic really a villain, or something else? Search for egoistic now. A search returned roughly 2030 results in 0.45 seconds. Fan clubs and official pages were already active. Egoistic Mango Stick, hero portal of the Mango Club. The true hero of this era, praised for and by mangoes, has inspired a fan club in honor of Mango Stick. Someone named Mango, is this a god? Today, Mango Stick G. Miyaga joined the Mango fan club. Egoistic, egoistic, egoistic. Other comments appeared. Someone named Mango told me recently that Mango Stick is way better than these heroes. Admirers of Mango Stick are weird. Earlier praises for Mango Stick could even get fans banned for a month for supporting a villain. Now, though, no one seemed to care. Haru held her head in exasperation. Then she noticed a comment from Today. What has the hero been up to? Lately, Mango Stick walks the streets and the fandom cheers blindly. If Korea keeps this up. Below it, Dane had left a humorous emoji comment. Perfect, right? Haru groaned. Goddammit. She flopped onto her bed, closing her eyes, thinking she was the only one who did not like all this. Her mind drifted back to the ice cream vendor proudly showing off his Mango Club shirt. I made it myself, Chai Yun, standing beside him, had complimented, so cute. Then she remembered Kim Dane's warning, hey, Stardust. Next time something like today happens, do not just show your face and flaunt it. Once your face is exposed, life will be hard. Haru's head throbbed at the memory. Could it be that everyone else was right, and she was the only one wrong? Meanwhile, Subin and Seo-eun were standing in front of a glass enclosure. Inside, Dane was lying down. Seo-eun could not stop herself from fuming about Stardust. Suddenly, a noise made her freeze. Dane opened his eyes and tapped on the glass. Why is everyone crying? The two watching could not help but worry. Seo-eun immediately rushed forward and hugged him, crying loudly. Seeing this, Dane reassured her, it is okay, it is okay. Eventually, he recovered, and the group had dinner together. He could not believe he had been unconscious for 3 whole days. Looking back, it was probably due to overusing his teleportation ability and lifting his body with external force. No wonder he was exhausted. Seo-eun spoke up. From now on, you need to take care of your body properly. Dane quickly promised, all right, I will. He looked at the girl with a small smile, thinking how touching it was that she cried for him. Spending time with her seemed to have an effect. On the other side, Subin frowned. Dane, why did you rush off like that? People probably thought you were a hero. Seo-eun joined in. Exactly. I do not get it. You keep calling yourself a villain all the time. Dane calmly replied, if I had not acted, Stardust would have stepped in anyway. Seo-eun still did not understand. Dane continued, making her pause. It is dangerous. If the hero's face is exposed, all personal information gets leaked. Then, everyday villains or malicious people would come hunting the hero. Do you get it? Seo-eun shrugged. What does that have to do with me? Dane patiently explained. Seo-eun, ah. The world we live in is off-kilter, a skewed axis between good and evil. Most heroes do not actually follow the heroic path. They take the villain's route instead. The rewards for defeating villains are too small, and constant interruptions make the hero's life miserable. So, rather than struggle through a painful heroic life, many choose villainy for an easier existence. And I am only talking about South Korea. A-level heroes are just Stardust, Icicle, and Shadow Walker 3 in total. But A-level villains, there are countless of them, right? Seo-eun could only sigh at that. That is why I planned to take down the villains on their behalf, Dane said. A dark hero, I suppose, but why does it concern us? Dane scratched his neck awkwardly. Not that much. I just care a little about South Korea's fate. Seo-eun's face darkened. You and that Stardust girl. Do you like her? Immediately, Dane became serious. Absolutely. Why? Do not call her that. Okay, Seo-eun, watch your words. The atmosphere between the two thickened instantly. Subin tried to ease the tension. Seo-eun, she changed the subject. Why do not you talk about what we discussed before, tell Dane. Seo-eun's expression shifted. Right. She turned to Dane. Hey, Dane. He raised an eyebrow, puzzled. Seo-eun pleaded, it is almost summer, let us go on a trip to the beach. Trip, that sounds nice, Dane replied. Seo-eun's eyes lit up with excitement. But then Dane's mischievous side kicked in. But let us add another little terrorist incident first. Another terrorist incident? Seo-eun asked, confused. His reasoning was simple, it would tone down his sudden fame. Dane also had another purpose, he was not entirely sure those crocodile-type villains would not reappear. If Stardust faced them, it could get really tough. Seo-eun pouted in slight annoyance. Really going on a trip? Then promise me with a pinky swear to behave, she said happily. I promise, Dane replied. Seo-eun cheered, let us go pack, she worked energetically. Actually, I have thought up dozens of plans already, she said crisply. If we propose one idea, Dane and Subin would probably think, wow, how proactive. She laid out her plan. The previous terrorist incidents had been on land at the observatory or on a train. This time, she suggested a new approach. Let us do it underwater. Or in the sky, she exclaimed. Immediately, Dane muttered a spell. Under and above. Come forth, O terror gods, grant me vision. A sudden electric surge ran through him as he shouted, got it. Subin gripped her hands nervously. What is it, Dane? Let us see, Dane said, as a mischievous idea sparked in his mind. A plane crashing into the sea. Both Dane and Seo-eun grinned deviously at the thought, while Subin shivered at their villainous energy. High above, a plane soared through the sky. Passengers were relaxed, unaware of the impending chaos. Suddenly, the plane lost power. Some passengers still stayed optimistic. Well, the lights are off, but the stars look beautiful, kind of like a real travel vibe, one remarked. Then the screen in the cabin lit up with the words, the ego live. A voice echoed throughout the plane. Welcome back, everyone, the biggest puzzle in the sky at 25,000 feet, or rather, the greatest aerial quiz game. Welcome to the Ego Show Live. An angry passenger shouted, Flight attendant, what is going on? Dane continued the announcement. Of course. And yes, the plane you are on is already rigged with a bomb. A bomb had been planted on the fuselage. The pilot realized, horrified. What the? When did he do that? Panic erupted among the passengers. Meanwhile, Dane grinned mischievously. Alright, let us start the game. Scene switched to the Hero Association headquarters. Haru dashed into the room. How much time has passed since this started? Sitting inside, Bak Jun-ho replied, even if you go, you might not make a difference. Haru slammed her fist on the table in frustration. Is that the chairman of the association speaking? I had to go immediately. He turned to her. I did not say you could not go. Daytime operations are just tough. Suddenly, someone entered, and Haru's face lit up. Kim Chae-yun. It was Kim Jae-yun, the A-level hero Shadow Walker, king of the night. He turned to Bak Jun-ho. Hurry to Jeju Airport, then get some sleep. Fighting is too much for me. Bak Jun-ho cautioned, do not overexert yourself. We can't save everyone. Shadow Walker activated his abilities, and Haru responded, I will remember that. As she approached Shadow Walker, a dark energy enveloped them. Instantly, they were transported to the scene of the incident. Haru dashed forward, thanking him. Thanks for your effort. No problem, Shadow Walker replied, collapsing onto the stairs. Almost there. Haru rushed outside, looking up at the sky in horror. Her feet froze mid-step, her face a mask of despair. How can we possibly stop this? Before her, the airplane was burning high in the sky. Cut to a year earlier, inside a building where a group of villains had gathered. All eyes were fixed on the figure seated above, who declared, the day I bring all of Seoul, all of South Korea, under my heel is not far off. He laughed with grim satisfaction. This was Needle 1000, an S-rank villain. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the room. But my intentions are different. The villain stiffened, alert. Who could it be? From the corner, Shadow Walker appeared. A hero, he said coolly. The rookie, a rank hero. Shadow Walker, the king of the night, folded his arms and exuded confidence. You evildoers. Needle 1000 stepped forward, trying to assert dominance. Kid, do you even know whose territory this is? One of the villain's subordinates muttered. Bewildered. How did he get in here? Shadow Walker's eyes glowed white as he stood motionless. Needle 1000 lunged with a punch, shouting, "This is my territory, I am Needle 1000. He unleashed a powerful strike, a surge of energy racing toward Shadow Walker. Yet, the hero did not flinch. The energy abruptly halted when it touched Shadow Walker, leaving Needle 1000 in disbelief. He and his subordinates looked around, confused. Where did he go? Then, from the shadows, something unusual happened. Needle 1000 was swallowed into darkness, disappearing instantly. His remaining subordinates met the same fate. Realizing the danger, Needle 1000 surrounded himself with power, thinking, I can't underestimate him. He is no ordinary foe. Shadow Walker's darkness crept along his shoulders. Appearing from behind, he surged forward. Needle 1000 retaliated, releasing a spine-like barrage from his back at Shadow Walker. Overconfident, are not we, he sneered, spinning around. This brat dares swipe at me. But when he turned fully, Shadow Walker was lying on the floor, shrouded in black energy. Suddenly, he vanished, leaving Needle 1000 panicked. Red-eyed, Shadow Walker appeared behind him. Hey, little spiny one, you said this was your territory, right? A gray, coiling power emanated from Shadow Walker's hand. Sorry, this place has become my territory now. A dark hand extended, trapping Needle 1000 in another dimension. Recalling the scene, Shadow Walker, still panting on the stairs, muttered to himself, he is probably dead. Meanwhile, Dane had been observing everything, the unfolding scene with Haru and the King of the Night. He thought, okay, the main character has finally taken the stage. With a sly grin, he spoke into his microphone. Alright, now for the final, dramatic puzzle. Let us get started. Everyone held their phones, praying desperately. A man, drenched in sweat and fear, recalled the events from 30 minutes earlier when everyone was still panicked. A piercing sound rang out, accompanied by Dane's image. People froze, too worried to make a sound. Dane's voice broke the silence. Alright, before we start the game, I will announce the rules. Everyone, open your phones and turn off airplane mode. See, the messages are arriving. Hardened yet anxious, everyone checked their screens. One message appeared. The Ego Live, meaningless quiz. A total of 10 questions. If even one person answers all questions correctly, the bomb will be defused. If no one answers a single question correctly, everyone will be wiped out. Send your answers to this number. Ready? Dane continued speaking, his voice cutting through the tense silence. From now on, absolute silence, no cheating, no whispering, no collaboration. Clear, anyone who makes a sound will be immediately disqualified. Then let us begin with question 1. On the phones, the first question appeared. How many people could a Titanic lifeboat carry? 59-second countdown for this question, Dane announced. A woman nervously glanced at her neighbor, trying to cheat. Immediately, Dane called out, the girl just tried to cheat, disqualified. She gasped in panic, and he added, and the man sitting next to her, you are disqualified too. The live chat exploded with reactions. This is hell on earth. Even watching it is nerve-wracking. Someone else commented, so cruel. Who said Stick was a hero? Terrifying. When the countdown hit 0, Dane declared, too easy. Right, the answer to question 1 is 9. Why? Someone asked. Dane slapped his thigh, grinning widely. Because it is life-saving, he paused dramatically, savoring the moment. The large screen displayed a seating chart, showing who had been eliminated. More than half are already out. And it is just the first question. Everyone should be a bit more tense now. Let us move on to the next question. Time passed, and the number of disqualified participants steadily grew. Those who survived clasped their hands in desperate prayer. Finally, it came down to the last question, with only a single person remaining. Feeling the pressure yet, Dane murmured, eyes scanning the screen. He saw Haru moving closer. Good, he thought, and then extended the timer. Since it is the final round, let us do a little interview first, he teased. Everyone's life rests on my words here. This is Mr. Kim Dok Bay from Baidong Province, the last person remaining. How are you feeling? The man, startled by the spotlight, stammered, This is really stressful. Dane taunted, stressful, why's that? I told you, anyone who makes a sound well. You see what happens. The man froze in horror, just as everyone else did. But Dane softened his tone, a sly smile in his voice. Relax, it is the final question, so a small mistake like that is forgivable. Right, is not that right, everyone? The man grumbled, I am not so sure about that. Even after speaking, he too was disqualified. The airplane shook violently, passengers screaming in terror as the plane, engulfed in flames, plummeted toward the sea. Dane chuckled with satisfaction. All right, the stage is set. Now it is time for the hero to appear. Stardust. Haru's eyes widened in horror at the scene. Despair painted her face. She had no idea how to save the people aboard. Shin Haru looked up at the object exploding in the sky and then, quiet and measured, asked, What do we do now? The Hero Association chairman on the other end of the line answered nonchalantly, What can you do now? Forget it. I am busy drafting a statement to respond to the criticism. Damn it, now this call's going to the president. I have to hang up. Shin Haru's hand clenched in fury, then she sagged, helpless. She would thought she would been able to stop that train at 100 kilometers per hour. Was her current strength still not enough? Damn it, what was the right move? Suddenly a memory surged up. Back then, in that hopeless moment, she would cried and cried over the pain of losing her parents. Mom, Dad, I will kill that bastard no matter what. The scene had been unbearably tragic. A girl curled up beside the bodies of the people she loved in a dark alley. Remembering that agony, Shin Haru slammed her fist down so hard the pavement cracked. She ground her teeth with rage then and now, she could not save anyone. Just as despair threatened to swallow her, a voice came through the earpiece, making her freeze. Hello, Stardust. It is egoistic. Elsewhere, Kim Dane stretched and yawned. This time we will control things remotely, so it should be easier to handle. Han Seo-eun, typing furiously, gasped and called out, Hey, Dane. He glanced over. Yeah, she pointed at the screen, laughing, that Stardust no, Miss Stardust, she is frozen on the ground. Kim Dane's eyes went wide. Then he sprang up, shouted so suddenly that Seo-eun jumped. What is it, Stardust? The stream showed Shin Haru standing, listening to the earpiece. Kim Dane seemed to realize something and barked an order. Seo-eun, can you connect to the in-ear Stardust is wearing? Seo-eun's fingers flew over the keyboard. Connected. But why are you so urgent? No time, hurry. Back with Shin Haru. The voice in her ear cut through her panic. Hello, Stardust. It is me. She shouted and swore, you filthy bastard. Kim Dane kept going. I am curious, why are you standing there instead of saving them? It is falling right now. The plane's coming down. Shin Haru flared with anger, watching the burning plane plunge earthward. You did this, did not you? Now you want me to stop it, she demanded. If you do not do it, who will? Kim Dane shot back. Tears streamed down Shin Haru's face. If I even touch that chunk of metal falling at 1,000 kilometers an hour, my body will be torn apart. Is this your plan, to push me into a death trap? She accused. Kim Dane's smile turned dangerous. You can do it, Shin Haru. What? He said. Clench your fists, fly up there, and save them. You can do it because it is you. Shin Haru slipped further into chaos. What the hell is this lunatic saying? In a whitewashed void, Kim Dane stepped toward her and asked, Why would I want to kill you? Without Stardust, I am just some ordinary villain. You helped me become who I am. Stardust. Shin Haru was stunned by that, then pushed herself up onto her knees. Even if this is some plot to get me killed, I will try once, she murmured, tugging the earpiece free. On the other end, Kim Dane was stunned. What? Shin Haru crushed the earpiece in her hand, braced herself, and pushed off. The space around her began to tear and fracture, shards flying outward. She poured everything into the motion and shot upward into the sky like a fired arrow. Shin Haru shot straight toward the nose of the plummeting plane. She pressed her lips together and thought, "That is right, if I just stand by and watch civilians die like this, I will carry the weight of their deaths for the rest of my life." Kim Dane's image appeared, calm and confident. "You can do it. Because it is you, you will make it." Shin Haru's face hardened with determination. She would rather sacrifice herself to protect them than live a lifetime haunted by regret. The two forces collided in midair, sending a shockwave through the sky. "I have already killed them. But if I concentrate just a little more." A fleeting image of a happy family flashed in her mind. "My children. Mom. Dad." A man's tears streamed down as he watched the vision, then he closed his eyes, as if surrendering. Inside the plane, a young girl clamped her hands over her ears, gritting her teeth as she tried to stay calm and peek outside. Suddenly, she froze at the window. Tears streamed down her face. The speed. It is slowing down. Outside, onlookers' eyes widened in shock at the unfolding scene. A panicked crew member reported over the radio, "It is unclear what is happening, but the plane is currently being supported externally, and it is descending safely." An announcement in the cabin advised, "Dear passengers, please remain seated with your seat belts fastened and await further instructions." High above, Shin Haru poured every ounce of her strength into supporting the plummeting plane. Her jaw clenched, veins standing out on her face. Just a little more. Elsewhere, a blurry scene came into focus. A flight attendant stared in shock at the figure regaining consciousness. "Mr. Kim Dok-bae, are you all right?" The man, Kim Dok-bae, finally stirred, holding his head in exhaustion, looking around in confusion. "Here." Eventually, he and another passenger stepped off the plane, supported by the flight attendant. Kim Dok-bae's eyes darted around in bewilderment. What is happening?" In front of them, Shin Haru knelt on the ground, panting heavily, drawing the attention of everyone around. Kim Dok-bae, tears streaming down his face in relief, exclaimed, "Is it?" The flight attendant, "You are the hero who saved us." Shin Haru looked up at the sky, her chest heaving with exertion. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "Egoistic." The story quickly made headlines. Naturally, Shin Haru's image was printed in sharp detail. The United States was stunned, Japan was in shock, China loudly praised her, and even France had to acknowledge this hero. Who exactly was Stardust? China had no choice but to admit that when it came to heroes, they were completely outmatched by South Korea. Even combining 10 Japanese heroes would not be a match. The Japanese Minister of Internal Affairs made a shocking revelation. News outlets quickly picked up the story, highlighting its intensity. Good morning, viewers. This is the Morning 900 News Bulletin starting your day. Yesterday, the level of villain Egoistic remotely hijacked an airplane and caused it to plummet. The broadcast began. Fortunately, all passengers were miraculously saved. The hero responsible for keeping the plane from disaster was none other than Stardust, our pride and hero. Many experts had predicted that, given her known abilities, she would not be able to prevent this crisis, yet in the end, the plane gradually slowed down. Finally, Shin Haru returned home and saw the news about herself. She quickly turned off the TV and took a sip of water. Having just finished her bath, she looked relaxed and adorable. Suddenly, her phone rang, and she hurriedly answered. "Hello." After listening to the other side, she asked, "Really?" A voice with blue hair replied, affirming, "Yes, I got the association president to grant Shin Haru a little leave. Go to the beach, relax, and enjoy the scenery. It has been a long time since we have done something like this together." Shin Haru cheered happily. "All right, I will leave tomorrow." The blue-haired voice added, "Yeah, and call Kim Chae-yun too." Later, Shin Haru stepped out onto the balcony to enjoy the breeze. Her expression turned serious as she seemed to be deep in thought, and the words of someone echoed in her mind, "You can do it. Because it is you, you will make it." Shin Haru smiled faintly, thinking, has anyone ever trusted me like that before, just an ordinary villain, yet. Suddenly, a thought struck her. Wait. Why did he tell me to save the plane, if he was so sure I could stop it? Then why let it fall in the first place? Kim Dane's voice rang in her memory. I am just an ordinary villain. You are the one who helped me become complete. Shin Haru gripped her head, feeling a headache coming on. Egoistic was shrouded in mystery, but somehow, she sensed he had orchestrated all of this with a purpose. She would need to investigate his movements carefully. Her eyes hardened with resolve as her phone screen lit up with a call from the Hero Association. The voice on the other end explained something that left Shin Haru astonished. What? Recheck the force measurements. Time passed quickly, and morning arrived. The sound of roosters crowing echoed. Finally, it is here, Han Seo-eun exclaimed, wearing a bright yellow life vest around her waist, brimming with excitement. Kim Dane reminded her, Seo-eun, before we leave, let some air out of the vest. Put it in the trunk. The girl replied enthusiastically, yes, Mr. Dane. Kim Dane sighed, watching her, and then rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Come to think of it, this is my first vacation since arriving in this world. Should I actually enjoy it? A small smile of anticipation appeared on his face. But shortly after, as they faced a heavily congested road ahead, a frustrated voice rose. What is going on here, inside the car? All three were flushed from the heat, sweat dripping down. Kim Dane sat behind the wheel, clearly annoyed. Why is the air conditioning broken on the exact day we leave? Han Seo-eun, on the verge of panic, offered a suggestion. Hey, can you just teleport the whole car? Kim Dane panicked. You will die right there, he exclaimed. Let us stop at a rest area first and deal with this. Seo-eun has superhuman intelligence, he added. If it gets too hot, just take off your jacket. Han Seo-eun peeled off her coat while shouting. Why did not we just take the train and be done with it? Why make such a big deal? She yelled. Kim Dane quickly retorted, you can't overload the car like this, Seo-eun. Curious, she opened a gray box next to her. What is this? Is not this supposed to be for vacation? It turned out to be a suitcase full of guns. Kim Dane gave a thumbs up, looking smug. Who could have predicted what might happen? Han Seo-eun, sitting in the back, fumed with anger. What kind of vacation is this? She shouted. Kim Dane panicked and hurriedly tried to calm her down. Sorry, Seo-eun. Put the gun down, and we can talk about it. After a series of mishaps on the way, the group finally reached their vacation destination. Han Seo-eun changed into a cute swimsuit and grabbed her golden float, dashing into the sea with excitement. The ocean. Kim Dane, sitting on the shore, laughed. You really do act like a kid sometimes. Lee Subin popped open a can of soda and handed it to him. I just got some drinks. Have one, Dane. She was wearing a beautiful bikini. He took the soda and replied, thanks, Subin. Suddenly, Lee Subin stared at Kim Dane intently, making him confused. I have always been grateful to you, Dane, she said. Grateful, for what? He asked. Just. For everything, Subin replied. Thank you for saving me back then, thank you for treating me well. Faced with her beautiful and alluring presence, Kim Dane grinned like a clueless fool, squinting and giving a thumbs up. What? I am the one who should be thanking you. You even help with chores at home, and your cooking is good too. Lee Subin added, brushing back a lock of hair shyly. Hearing that. It really touches me. Kim Dane swallowed hard, a suspicious look crossing his face. Could this be a dead flag moment from a manga, or is she betraying me? He glanced nervously at the can of soda in his hand. Could I be poisoned? His distorted expression left Lee Subin puzzled. Cut to a large building in the city. Shin Haru had arrived there. A few staff members were talking among themselves. We did not mismeasure, one said. The data clearly shows she should not have been able to stop the plane. Maybe there is some error elsewhere, another suggested. Or perhaps we have not fully understood her true power yet, someone added. Shin Haru stood in front of a strength testing board, thinking to herself, no, the test was not wrong. If I could stop what seemed like an impossible disaster, then clearly. She prepared to test her abilities once more. The effect left nearby staff stunned. Shin Haru shouted as she swung her fist with immense power. Her punch slammed into the test board, cracking it, and even the screws snapped apart. Energy surged outward, filling the surrounding space. The staff watched in horror as she stood before her own fist, muttering, I have become stronger. Beside Kim Dane, Lee Subin shyly brushed back her hair and said, "Hearing that, I feel really touched." Kim Dane's lips pressed together tensely as he thought, could this be a dead flag moment straight out of a comic, or is she going to betray me? His face went pale, as if he had just realized something terrifying. The sun blazed down below, and Han Seo-eun, enjoying herself on the sea with her float, noticed the scene unfolding on the shore. Kim Dane, still tense, responded to Lee Subin, "Haha. I look forward to getting your help again, Subin." Han Seo-eun quickly got out of the water and pointed at the two of them, accusingly. Hey, are you two planning to have a romantic moment and leave me alone?" Lee Subin panicked, embarrassed, and defended herself. "Romantic moment, what are you talking about?" Kim Dane replied, calmly confused. The girl, fuming with irritation, blazed back, "If we are on a family vacation, we should all play together." Kim Dane grinned mischievously. "Oh, is that so?" Han Seo-eun scrunched her face in confusion at his expression. A moment later, Kim Dane transformed into a playful, almost scary uncle figure. He scooped Han Seo-eun up along with her float, making her shriek in alarm. "Hey, what are you doing? Wait, stop." Kim Dane laughed wickedly as he tossed her into the sea. "Doing what? Just playing together." Han Seo-eun surfaced, struggling to stay afloat, then flung a piece of seaweed at Kim Dane's face, shouting, "Water's going up my nose, seriously, this is annoying." Kim Dane wiped his face with a grin, thinking, "Anyway, it has been so long since I have had this kind of peace. I love it." Then, grinning like a demon king, he splashed water at Han Seo-eun. Lee Subin, sitting on the shore, watched the scene and laughed with delight. Time passed quickly, and night fell. On the road, strange cars raced by, their engines roaring alongside shouts. "Where are we hitting tonight, team?" "Busan Mario's Royal Hyperion Han Grand Ambassador Hotel." "All of it," a commanding voice boomed in the darkened space. "Let us make it spectacular." Cut to the Mario's Royal Hyperion Han Grand Ambassador Hotel. After a fun day at the beach, Kim Dane's group returned to the hotel to rest. The receptionist asked, "Hello, may I have the name under the reservation?" Kim Dane replied, "Ah. Probably Han Seo-eun." The receptionist smiled and handed over a room card. "Yes, I have confirmed it. Here's the key to room 2708. Kim Dane looked puzzled. "Huh. Just one room," Han Seo-eun, standing beside him with a pouting expression, awkwardly explained. "Well, saving a bit of money is not bad either." They let it slide. The three of them waited for the elevator to their room. Suddenly, Han Seo-eun exclaimed, "Oh right, the bed is huge, let us all sleep together." Kim Dane's eyes went wide. "Even? Only one bed?" Lee Subin, though excited and looking forward to it, calmly said, "It has been a long time since the three of us slept together. It will be fun. Just let it be." Kim Dane broke into a sweat, glancing at them nervously. "Well, we have never slept together before," he thought. Internally, he muttered a prayer. "Nothing's going to happen, right? Really nothing. Why am I even worrying, haha." And so, the three of them truly slept together on the bed. Han Seo-eun lay in the middle, fast asleep, snoring softly. Kim Dane was dozing with his eyes closed when a whisper sounded at the door. "Hold on, this room's ours." Footsteps counted off. One, then two masked robbers kicked the door in, guns raised, shouting, "FBI, open up." With a single flick of a finger, Kim Dane sent both of them flying backward, smacking them clean in the jaw so they collapsed. He sat up, rubbed his eyes, yawned, and muttered, "Where did these clowns even come from?" The two lay unconscious on the floor. Cautiously, Dane peered out the door and saw guests in other rooms being dragged away in their pajamas by the faux FBI team. "Get moving, go see what is happening," he muttered. "Terrorists, for real." He ground his teeth and crushed the doorframe in one hand. Damn it, this is the second trip and something stupid happens each time. On his phone he pulled up news. "Wait, Shadow Walkers still here. They are causing trouble at night now," the headline read. "Breaking, a rank hero Shadow Walker found downed in West Incheon." "Oh God." Han Seo-eun stirred, yawning. "What is going on? Terrorists?" Dane gave a flat yes in reply, though in his head he was thinking, "At this point nothing surprises me." He vanished from the room, instructing them, Hold on, I will check the parking. Wake Subin and wait in the room. Half asleep, Seo-eun rubbed her eyes. Terrorists on vacation now, do as I say, Dane replied. Already materialized in his car. From the car he saw the terrorists pawing around the parked cars. We can't just leave them, gotta deal with this quietly. He rummaged through the vehicle and pulled out a grotesque mask, his expression turning wicked. Of all the backup masks to bring, this one actually comes in handy. Serves you right for wrecking our vacation. Show your faces, he muttered. Suiting up, Dane returned to the hotel room. The two girls were awake and waiting properly. He tossed the gear toward them and said, connect through the in-ear. Let us go. He looked thoroughly pleased with himself. Seo-eun sighed and rolled her eyes. You really get excited at times like this, she thought. In the hotel lobby the terrorists had stacked chairs into a small mound. The leader perched on top like a showman while his goons crouched below, guns trained. The ringleader Monkey Spanner, in a rank villain, stroked his beard and barked, ready. His men nodded. Good, he shouted, pointing. Inform the Hero Association and the government we are holding hundreds of hostages here. Wire the ransom to the account, or we kill them all. Bound and kneeling, the hostages trembled on the floor. Monkey Spanner kept bellowing the account number 1, 2 when a noise made everyone turn. Even the leader fell silent, alert. Kim Dane stepped into view wearing an orange mask, clapping as he announced, enough of this cheap terror theater. He raised his hand and unleashed a pulse of force. A gun was ripped from one thug's grip and then, under his telekinetic control, a cascade of weapons swung and trained on the heads of the terrorists themselves. Dane clenched his fist. A shockwave erupted across the lobby. The hostages screamed in terror at the sudden violence. Dane's irises flashed violet. A thought crossed his mind, was all that external force I would been stockpiling for months really spent so fast, and he leapt up to strike Spanner. He knocked the leader to the floor and sat in his place, grinning with a demonic smile. How pathetic, he sneered. You punks think you can pull off a terror stunt, he taunted. Monkey Spanner's eyes flared red in fury. He pulled a pistol and aimed it at Dane. A shot rang out, one bullet slammed into Dane's abdomen. Even he was stunned as he looked down at the wound. A wild, manic laugh echoed through the air. Ha 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 ha, just one bullet. Kim Dane's calm demeanor sent Monkey Spanner reeling. Dane sat atop him, the bullet still lodged in his stomach, yet he casually chuckled. That is it, that is all you have got. From above, Spanner felt like a giant, someone who could dominate everything in his grasp. Beneath the mask, Kim Dane's face was twisted in pain, sweat streaming down. Damn it, this is bad. If I move, I will bleed out too fast. Below, Monkey Spanner began shifting his stance, calculating. I planned to strike fast while Shadow Walker was not around. That guy must be Icicle. Could it be that I am on his target list too? Is that why he is hiding here already? Dane clenched his teeth, trying to mask the pain, and laughed. You seem tense. I will give you a chance to run if you can. Spanner ground his teeth and clenched his fists, glaring. What are you plotting? He demanded. Dane stayed perched above, calm. Plotting, that is cute. The real plot is what you are racking your brain over. Because of you, my vacation's ruined. Do not bother me, retreat while you still can. Inside, his mind urged him further, just stop thinking. Go. Just opening your eyes makes me dizzy enough. Monkey Spanner weighed his options. This is the chance I just need to enhance my power, and I can bounce back at any moment. With that, he lunged like Flash, racing toward the hotel exit. In his head, he swore, Monkey Spanner will one day be king of Korea, I can't die here. But a fist slammed out from the doorway, shards of glass trailing in its wake. The punch sent Spanner flying backward with incredible force, his body twisting unnaturally, like a misfired missile. It was Shin Haru, appearing just in time. She shouted, warning the terrorists, you are surrounded, drop your weapons and surrender. The monkey gang froze, looking down at the carnage of their fallen comrades. Then a pair of long, straight legs stepped into view. Shin Haru, stunned, watched as the rank hero, Shadow Walker, observed coldly. Huh, already wiped out, he muttered, a look of boredom on his face. His companion, another rank hero, shook his head. Boring. Boring, huh? Everyone down already. Just one fake alarm and it is terrorist time. Then he noticed Kim Dane perched atop the high stack of chairs. But who is that? Dane, pinkish bubblegum-colored eyes staring down, wondered silently, why is she even here? Shin Haru furrowed her brow. Who are you? Did you control these terrorists? Dane gritted his teeth against the pain, thinking, if I do not focus, I will die right here. Fortunately, it seemed they did not know he was egoistic. He only needed a moment to recover enough to teleport twice. Elsewhere, Han Seo-eun and Subin listened tensely to instructions over the earpiece. Kim Dane continued to radiate menace. Who am I? He said over the comms. I am an S-rank hero operating secretly in Korea. The three below gawked upward in shock. Shin Haru quickly pointed, whispering, there is no record of an S-rank hero in the association. Dane replied coolly, nonsense. Do you even know what covert operations mean? A rank hero's icicle, shadow walker, they are all public. I am the hero active before your generation. Han Seo-eun frowned, confused. Dane, what the heck are you doing? Subin knit her brows, concern etched across her face. Dane SSI. Kim Dane's voice rang out from outside, brimming with arrogance. When you meet a senior, you should at least greet them properly. These guys are hopelessly clueless. Shin Haru looked up, her expression a mix of irritation and suspicion. Dane shook his head in mock disappointment. Just by looking at your faces, I can tell you do not understand a thing. Fine, I will introduce myself properly. Listen closely, I am a hero. His gaze landed on a boy wearing a t-shirt with the words apple mango printed on the back, the image of a delicious fruit emblazoned there. Kim Dane seized the moment, announcing the name with precision, apple mango. The recently freed guests blinked in stunned surprise at the peculiar hero alias. Icicle, listening through his earpiece, perked up. Yes. He says he is called apple mango. No way, someone replied coldly, gesturing sharply. Hey, you over there. No one has a hero alias like that. Who are you, really? Kim Dane's temper flared. Insolent fools, I even know the association chairman's real name, Bak Manzan, now Bak Jun-ho. Right, my old name was Rustic, so I changed it. Check your records. The three onlookers froze at this declaration. Inside, Dane's mind raced with tension. I can't believe the info from the original material actually works. Icicle replied, regardless, the chairman claimed he does not know you. A guest piped up, voice dripping with frustration. Hey, heroes. I have been watching all this, and I had to say something. The masked guy subdued the villains for us. Does it really matter who he is? Icicle wiped sweat from his brow, uncertain how to respond. I mean. Everyone, stay calm. Inside, Kim Dane shouted in his mind, oh God, perfect timing. Just a little more power, and I can escape. The guest continued, and I saw him make the gun float in midair, firing in all directions. What is he? Someone asked. He is like that guy who shows up on TV, Shin Haru noted, catching the key detail. Kim Dane froze, forcing a stiff response. The older man raised a thumb toward him. But so what, honestly, watching it was kind of thrilling. Dane shouted again in his mind, stop. Just a little more. Icicle smirked lightly. Seems a bit suspicious. Kim Dane silently tensed, sweat pouring down his face. Just a little more. The three heroes below began to channel their power. First, control him, then reveal his identity, they seemed to think. Icicle extended a hand, projecting a shard of ice that rammed into the floor with a deafening crack. Kim Dane clenched his teeth in agony, muttering under his breath, Gah. 2. Shadow Walker had silently crept up behind him. Dane pressed against his wound, screaming inwardly, please. Just move. Shin Haru's eyes narrowed, sharp as blades, and she rocketed toward him like a missile. Kim Dane's face contorted in fear as he realized the situation was spiraling dangerously out of control. Fortunately, at the most critical moment, Kim Dane managed to activate his power, teleporting downward and avoiding the hero's control. Han Seo-eun and Subin appeared just in time to catch him, and in an instant, all three vanished, carrying the wounded Dane with them. Moments later, their car flickered into motion, and the two girls lunged inside. Han Seo-eun, her vision spinning and barely able to sit upright, anxiously asked, Are you okay? Kim Dane's face twisted in pain. Subin. Right now, wipe out all evidence that we were ever in Busan. The hotel guest logs, the CCTV. If they find anything. His voice trailed off, unable to continue. Both girls stared at him, alarmed. Dane. What is wrong? Are you serious? Blood kept spilling from his abdominal wound. Subin yelled, We need to get him to a hospital immediately. Kim Dane struggled to interject. No. I do not have the strength to teleport anymore. If we go to a hospital, we will be caught. Take me back to Ego Base. Subin gritted her teeth, tension tightening every line of her face, as she gripped the steering wheel and barked instructions to Han Seo-eun. Seo-eun, grab the first aid kit and stabilize him, now. Tears welled in Han Seo-eun's eyes, her gaze haunted by the scene. Oh okay. Subin snapped, urging her, hurry. The girl quickly composed herself, dabbing her tears away. Yes, yes, Subin's expression hardened, and she pressed the accelerator. I will get us out of here. The blackened road stretched ahead as their car tore through the night like a missile. Meanwhile, back at the hotel lobby, the police had arrived to calm the hostages. Icicle exhaled heavily. Seriously. A rare chance for a break, and these villains still can't let a single day go by. Shadow Walker frowned. I am going to take a short rest. Subin glanced at him and replied, Yeah. It is tough, but I only dragged you here for a little fun. Icicle turned to Shin Haru. Well, we are here now, Stardust. Shin Haru, however, remained silent, pursing her lips, lost in thought. On the road, a car sped along. The driver, nodding off with exhaustion, muttered, So sleepy. Better chew some gum. Suddenly, he spotted a car racing behind him through the rearview mirror. What the? That car is moving insanely fast, the driver shouted. The speedometer had already surpassed 220 kilometers per hour. Inside, Han Seo-eun tried to treat Kim Dane's wounds, while Subin gripped the steering wheel with a fearsome intensity. Blood drenched Dane's body, seeping from his belly despite the makeshift bandages. Sweat poured down his face as pain contorted him. Meanwhile, Shin Haru clenched her fists, speaking seriously to Icicle. We need to track his movements carefully. The scene then shifted to the past. In Kim Dane's room, a voice echoed, again with the villains. Always harassing Stardust in every way. Kim Dane slammed a book shut and lay on his bed, expression blank. And it ends like this. This was 19-year-old Kim Dane, his face darkened by exhaustion. This story. It is just so depressingly thematic. The ending. The book fell to the floor, and Kim Dane rolled across his bed, muttering Stardust before eventually dozing off. Outside, a streak of light flashed past the window in the night sky. Back in the present, somewhere in a house, Han Seo-eun tended to Kim Dane, her face pale with exhaustion, worry etched into every feature. Subin carried in a tray of food, but Han Seo-eun refused right away. I am not eating. She wiped her face and coaxed gently, Seo-eun, eat a little. Dane will wake up. Kim Dane lay unconscious on the sickbed, and Han Seo-eun buried her face and sobbed. Subin sat beside her, trying to comfort her. As the girl ate through her tears, a voice suddenly spoke. You still eat so well, huh, my Seo-eun? Kim Dane turned his head, grinned weakly and said, and I am about to die. The two girls froze. Then Han Seo-eun broke into fresh wails. She flailed and punched Kim Dane in the chest. Subin, moved to tears, watched as he winced and forced a pained smile. Outside, the night was black. Images of Kim Dane wearing a white mask with a golden mask in his other hand poured across the web. Was Egostick's no casualty terror really terrorism? Shin Haru sat at her computer, scanning reports. Yeah. The plane incident did not have casualties either. What if Egostick calls and I can't act? A memory of Kim Dane's voice flashed in her head. You can do it. Because it is you, you will make it. Shin Haru lowered her head, tense. He sounded absolutely sure I could do it, like he expected my power to spike. She flatly shook her head. How would he know? Must be coincidence. She tightened her fist. But I can't deny I got stronger. She pulled up someone's dossier. There is something else suspicious. The villain's egoistic killed this guy seemed like someone who could trigger a massive disaster someday, and egoistic saw that coming. Egoistic is definitely not a hero, but calling him merely a villain feels too small. I have a feeling he is orchestrating some enormous game. Next time he stages an attack, I will expose him. Shin Haru was resolute. Over at Han Seo-eun's place, the girl was scrolling her phone thoughtfully. So what is the point of all these attacks? Egoistic knows the Hero Association chairman's real name Bak Manzan, who is now Bak Jun-ho. Could Egoistic have once been an S-rank hero and switched sides after clashing with the association? The conspiracy theory that Egoistic opposes the association is spreading. Do you know anything? The three of them sat at the table. The implication made Kim Dane go momentarily pale. What? I just threw up. Eat. Subin forced a smile and put her phone away. Seo-eun, do not bother Dane right now. He is exhausted. The girl still scolded, what are you going to do? Play the I am the villain act again and stage another terror, with that body, really? Kim Dane flinched at her tone. Seo-eun he started, but no words came out. Suddenly both girls turned on him with sharp, probing eyes. Kim Dane had to make a call. We will lay low for a bit. About 3 months. Relief melted across both their faces. Really? They asked. He kept chewing and confirmed, yeah, hide out for a while. With this media attention, if I disappear for a bit things will cool down. In his head he was already planning, and during the downtime I will recruit new members. A shadowy image of a potential recruit flickered through his mind. Kim Dane calculated quietly, if I leave him alone, he will become a major destabilizing villain later. If I can't kill him, I will pull him to my side. 3 months quickly passed. An announcement blared over the system, a villain has appeared. Stardust, prepare for deployment. Shin Haru immediately asked, is it Egoistic? The response came back negative. No, it is a villain calling themselves Lockboom. Hearing this, she let out a disappointed sigh. Ah, I see. Moments later, Shin Haru rocketed through the sky in her hero form, her mind racing. Egoistic. Where have you been, and what have you been doing these past 3 months? Meanwhile, back at Kim Dane's house, he was glued to the large TV screen showing footage of Shin Haru. Oh, here we go, here we go. He munched popcorn excitedly, completely engrossed as if watching a movie. Han Seo-eun sat beside him, shooting him a look of mild exasperation. On screen, an erranked villain called Lock Boom erupted with power, roaring ferociously. Kim Dane cheered, go get him, Stardust. Shin Haru, mid-flight, shouted as she attacked Lock Boom, are you Egoistic? But it was not Egoistic. Shin Haru's fury erupted as she punched, shattering her opponent. Soon after, the screen showed a villainous man with spiked hair lying unconscious on the ground. Kim Dane threw his popcorn into the air in excitement. See, power boosts are totally worth it. Stardust. Han Seo-eun furrowed her brows, unimpressed. Is that really that much fun? Kim Dane blinked, a little taken aback. Kind of, yeah. Suddenly, Han Seo-eun's sharp voice snapped him out of it. Now, let us get to work. Seriously, I can't take you lurking around the Stardust fan club all day anymore, she added, glaring. Kim Dane looked alarmed. What, Seo-eun? Her tone darkened. Kim Dane, leader of the Stardust Club. You really thought I did not know? I am a well-known hacker, you know. Exposed, Kim Dane quickly grabbed the remote, shutting off the screen and stammered, it is just a little hobby, that is all. She reminded him firmly, anyway, today we have got work to do. Kim Dane sat up, curious. Let us see. Today's the 17th, right? She perked up, intrigued. What is that, a terror attack? Kim Dane shook his head. Nope. Han Seo-eun pressed further. Then. Going to defeat a villain, again, he shook his head. Finally, Kim Dane broke into a bright smile. Nope, today we are recruiting new members. From a high vantage point overlooking the town, an elderly couple admired the scenery below. The man sighed. Wow. This place has not changed at all. Compared to 20 years ago, it is exactly the same. At that moment, someone accidentally bumped into him. The person, wearing a hat and keeping their face lowered, spoke without looking up. "Ah, sorry." He waved dismissively. "No worries, I am fine. Just a student." But as the girl passed, a wallet appeared in her hand. Her eyes were a striking shade of blue. Glancing downward, she spotted a group below. The group clearly consisted of delinquents, each with a cigarette dangling from their mouth, staring up at her with mischievous grins. She clenched her teeth in anger. Just then, a boy with equally clear blue eyes appeared, running toward her, smiling brightly. "Sis," he called. The boy was Cha Yun, 13 years old. She pinched his cheek and asked, "Having fun?" He beamed. "Yeah." Then she noticed his scraped knee. "Your knee's all scraped up." "Ah, where did you get hurt?" Cha Yun asked innocently. "I just fell on the road, that is all." The girl raised her hand, emitting a healing energy while chiding gently, "Really, be more careful next time." Cha Yun's eyes widened in amazement as the scrape on his knee gradually healed. "Oh, he shouted in delight. After a short while, the scrape on Cha Yun's knee had completely healed. The girl took off her hat and then gently placed it back on Cha Yun's head. "You go home first, okay," she said. The boy nodded obediently. "Yes." As she removed her hat, it revealed a beautiful girl with orange hair. She smiled brightly and said, "I will go get some good food and come back soon." This was Lee Ha-Yul, who would later become the villain known as X-Saint. Sometime later, night had fallen. Lee Ha-Yul returned with a bag of food. As she opened the door, she cheerfully called out, "Cha Yun, I got some delicious treats for you." But her cheerful expression immediately froze as she took in the scene inside. A voice called out from within the house. "Knew it. This little brat." The bag of food fell to the floor. Inside were a gang of thugs, the wild dogs of the dam area. Cha Yun was being held down by a masked man. One of the thugs sneered, "You dare pick pockets in our territory. If I catch you hiding anything else, I will send you straight to the afterlife." Got it? His wide, comical eyes made him look ridiculous, but the threat in his tone was real. Despite her fear, Lee Ha-Yul shouted, "Enough. Let Cha Yun go and get out of here with all that stuff." The thug sighed, feigning boredom. "Look at this kid," he muttered, then grabbed Cha Yun's hair, causing the boy to cry out in pain. He seemed to take pleasure in others' suffering. "Hey, little brat." Two more thugs charged at Lee Ha-Yul, restraining her as well. "You bastards," she shouted. The thug holding Cha Yun's head continued to sneer. "Look at that, does not your sister have any idea what is going on?" a scar-faced thug said, pressing a knife to the boy's neck. "Today, I am going to teach you a lesson." Lee Ha-Yul's heart pounded with terror. "No, I was wrong, please stop." The scar-faced thug raised his knife with a cruel grin. "Too late, little dog." Cha Yun squeezed his eyes shut, desperate. Suddenly, an invisible force yanked the knife from the thug's hand. Shocked, he glanced behind him only to be slammed forward into the wall by another unseen force. All the thugs in the dam area found themselves staring down the barrels of guns aimed at them. Seizing the moment, Cha Yun scrambled forward. Lee Ha-Yul grabbed him tightly, her voice trembling with relief and urgency. "Cha Yun." At that moment, Kim Dane appeared outside their yard. He thought to himself, Friday the 17th. Today, Cha Yun would have been killed by that gang. Ha-Yul would have been pushed toward darkness and become a villain. Luckily, I got here early any later, and it would have been a disaster. Cha Yun turned and saw him, eyes widening in shock. See, could it be? Lee Ha-Yul stepped in front of him, shielding him and questioning warily, "Are you egoistic?" Kim Dane's lips curved into a villainous smile. "It is good to see you, Ha-Yul, Cha Yun. I have come to take you both away from here." Lee Ha-Yul's face went dark and she snapped, "Why are you taking us? You are one of those brutal villains yourself." Kim Dane answered coolly, "Why, of course I am taking you to save you. Did not you see what was happening, and if the police had shown up, it would have been a mess." She stiffly refused. "I would rather die than go with you." "You bastard, what do you plan to do?" Just then Cha Yun bolted outside like the wind. Lee Ha-Yul was stunned, yelling, "Cha Cha Yun, no. In her head she pictured the boy running straight toward a vicious, dangerous thug. But Cha Yun reached Kim Dane, grabbed his hand, and blurted, "Egoistic, I am in your fan club." He gazed up at him with utter adoration and pride. Even Kim Dane felt a little taken aback by the boy's affection. Huh. Before long Kim Dane had brought the two siblings back to his hideout and introduced them to the rest of his people. "All right, these are our new members. Say hello." Cha Yun's eyes sparkled as he cheered. "Wow, there is even the famous hacker beauty of Ego." Subin wiped sweat from her brow at that nickname. Cha Yun's admiration only brightened. "So she is a hacker?" Lee Ha-Yul dipped into a careful bow. "Hi, everyone. I am Lee Ha-Yul, and this is my little brother Cha Yun." Han Seo-eun examined them with a serious, appraising look. New member has healing powers. And she is a girl, huh? A little while later the five of them were getting along more smoothly. Kim Dane happily opened the fridge. "Mango," Cha Yun squealed with excitement. "It is really mangoes." Han Seo-eun stared, thinking, just like the first time I met Dane. Lee Ha-Yul, however, stayed tense and watchful. Kim Dane tilted his head back and guzzled some juice. Han Seo-eun bared her teeth and yelled in mock menace, "Do not just suck it straight from the bottle like that." Kim Dane choked and spat it out. "It is mango juice. Hey, that is mine." "Seo-eun, that shelf in the fridge is yours," she huffed, half abashed but still scolding. "Okay, next time be more careful." Subin carried a plate of peeled apple slices over and cheerfully offered, "Cha Yun, want some fruit?" The boy's eyes lit up even more. "Wow, thank you." He speared a piece with his fork. Lee Ha-Yul, still on edge, called, "Cha Yun." He was taking a huge bite, chewing and looking at her with a puzzled expression. "Huh?" Lee Ha-Yul turned away, helpless and still worried. "Oh, never mind." Kim Dane grinned and said, "Seo-eun." Then he added, "Subin, I want to have a frank talk with them. Could you two step out for a bit?" Han Seo-eun stuck out her tongue and teasingly mocked him. "Go out for a bit." "Okay." Kim Dane sighed at her antics. "Subin, take her back to the main house for a minute, will you?" "Got it." After they left, only the three of them remained in the room. Kim Dane sat facing the two siblings and spoke first. "Lee Ha-Yul, did not you kill the orphanage director and run away?" The question made her frown and grow wary. Kim Dane continued, "I looked into it. That director regularly abused you too. My coming here was not random. I have a reason." She asked suspiciously, "What reason?" Kim Dane replied plainly, "To make sure you two can live happily." Lee Ha-Yul frowned, staring intently at him, then exclaimed in surprise, "What? What did you just say?" Kim Dane smiled and continued, Of course, I am not talking about this cramped underground space. I have already set up a teleportation gate. We will move to the main house. You can live there and go to school too." Lee Ha-Yul's suspicion flared. "Why? Why are you doing this to us? We only just met today." Kim Dane glanced at Han Seo-eun before replying, "Because I have a little sister too, that is why I am doing this." Cha Yun's eyes lit up. "I have watched all the Mango Stick terror cases. I have watched them over and over." Kim Dane scratched the back of his head, slightly flustered. "Oh, really? Thanks, kid. Should I really let an elementary schooler watch stuff like that?" he thought nervously. Lee Ha-Yul shot him a sharp look of warning. "Cha Yun," Kim Dane spoke again. "Try living together once, you will enjoy it more than you think. We are not as bad as you imagine." Cha Yun clasped his hands together, brimming with excitement for the bright days ahead. Lee Ha-Yul looked thoughtful, clearly weighing the situation. "All right," she finally said. Soon after, Kim Dane led the two siblings to a new location. A hidden path opened, revealing a mysterious spatial gate. Kim Dane turned with a bright smile. "Follow me." He stepped through, his body gradually disappearing. Lee Ha-Yul's face remained tense as she followed, while Cha Yun jumped up to the gate, waving back. "Sister, are not you coming? I will go first." Lee Ha-Yul called out in alarm, "Cha Yun," but sighed helplessly. "Really?" She finally decided to step through after them. Later, Lee Ha-Yul climbed the stairs in awe. In front of her, Cha Yoon stood by the window, sunlight streaming in warm and radiant. Kim Dane grinned. Do you like it? This will be our home. Cha Yoon seems to like it. I will stay on the third floor, you on the second. 2 rooms for you too. Do not worry about school fees, you are at the age to study anyway. I have plenty of money. Lee Ha-Yul remained wary, her expression skeptical. Kim Dane softened his tone. If it feels awkward, stay a few days and see. If you want to go back, you can refuse anytime. Okay. Lee Ha-Yul widened her eyes, taking it all in. Suddenly, she felt a shiver down her spine as her face paled, remembering the scar-faced thug who had pressed a knife to Cha Yoon's neck earlier. I will teach those guys a lesson, she thought. The memory of Cha Yoon closing his eyes in despair flashed before her. Now, seeing Cha Yoon full of joy, Lee Ha-Yul nodded in acceptance. Thank you so much. Kim Dane patted her shoulder reassuringly. It is nothing. Let us live well together. Elsewhere, Kim Dane wore a self-satisfied villainous grin, successfully recruited the sister, he thought. Then, scratching his head, he realized, wait. Did I forget something? What was it? Night had fallen, the moon high in the sky. On the online forums, posts reflected the day's events. What did the hero do today? Hero news board. Free board. Egoistic really dead, mango sticky ever. Impossible. Almost 4 months gone, and still no sign. Come back, come back, come back, come back. 8 comments scrolled by. Comment 1. First time seeing someone miss the villain's terror cases so much. Comment 2. Not a villain, he is a hero. Comment 3. But really? Why has not he shown up, retired or something? Shin Haru sat before her computer, frustration written all over her face. Where have you been, and what have you been doing, egoistic? Her expression was so tense it seemed she was about to lose all patience. In a laboratory, 2 figures stood silently, observing a strange creature suspended in a tank of fluid. One of them spoke, muttering each time they looked at it. The bespectacled doctor laughed maniacally, and I could not hide my astonishment. The white-haired man standing beside him said, "Until drive. Kim Son-woo is released, we will complete this project. We will present the fully formed behemoth to him." Inside the fluid chamber, the creature stirred. The white-haired man murmured to himself, if that happens, South Korea no, the entire world will kneel before our Han-un Corporation. The madman reached out, touching the orb, while his other hand rose as if to seize everything. The surrounding scientists immediately burst into laughter. One of them declared boldly, "No one can stop me." At Subin's house, the morning sunlight streamed in, bright and warm. Someone was deftly slicing mushrooms with a knife, each piece perfectly thin. Subin smiled at Ha-Yul. Honestly, you could just rest if you want. The young girl startled slightly, then replied, "No, it is fine. I feel more comfortable this way." Subin smiled again. "Thank you." Ha-Yul lowered her head with a soft sigh. "Thanks to you, we were able to prepare quickly and finish early," Subin added. Ha-Yul felt a pang of sadness as she looked at Subin. She thought of the beautiful girl who had been kidnapped by egoistic her sister, Subin. Ha-Yul recalled that 4 months had passed since the incident. She thought about the news article she had read. The villain responsible had paid restitution in money, and the public had erupted into chaos. Seeing Subin standing peacefully beside her, Ha-Yul reassured herself, she was still living a happy, good life, and all the wild rumors about him no longer mattered. At that moment, she heard a voice call out, "Hey, hold my hand for a moment, Dane." Dane immediately replied, "Stay alert a bit longer, then you can go on your own, Seo-un. You are injured right now." Ha-Yul watched Dane struggling with Seo-un and pondered the true nature of egoistic Kim Dane. Dane tugged at Seo-un's shirt and asked, "Now that we have got a bright place like this, why do you still prefer sleeping in the basement?" The young genius murmured, "Always. I heard something about ego base or something." Dane pulled at her again. "Come on, let us have breakfast." The food was served. Dane stared intently at the dishes and exclaimed loudly, "Breakfast meat this early, that is amazing." Ha-Yul thought sadly, one day, if someone gets injured and comes back. With my healing abilities. She lowered her head, gazing at her hands in silence. Ha-Yul clenched her fists, as if steeling herself for a decision. After finishing the meal, Dane lay on the bed, deep in thought. It is almost time. Time to prepare for the black disaster these Han-Un corporations are about to unleash. He rested his head in his hands, weary and frustrated. Dane stared at the calendar hanging on the wall. At that moment someone barged into the room with bold energy. A voice rang out, "So you have been hiding in here this whole time, Mango Stick." Seo-un screamed, "Right now. Let us stage another terror event. I am bored out of my mind." Dane sat there, thoughtful, making a small, quiet sound. Then, all at once, he spoke up. "Okay. Do it. Get ready for a terror operation." She froze. "Huh, seriously?" Dane sat up and smiled. He called out, "Ego Squad assemble." A short while later, in the meeting room, Dane stood with his arms crossed in front of the whiteboard. Ha-Yul hesitated. But her question made everyone pause. From the start, why were they even doing terror attacks? Dane answered cheerfully, "If you ask why we do terror, you deserve an answer." Someone cut him off immediately. "Hold on, that is far enough." Seo-un, blunt as ever, snapped, "Uncle, just get to the point already." Dane suddenly said, "From now on you do not call me brother anymore. Call me." Then, replying to Ha-Yul's question, he said, "Ha-Yul, the truth is, we are the villains." The girl went quiet, thinking, "Oh, so that is it." Dane continued, "So we have to stage terror. But we must not cause civilian casualties." He added, "We have to choreograph dilemma situations that match Ego Stick's concept, and we have to drag Stardust into it too." Seo-un cut in. Exasperated, "These events have to positively impact her image." "Okay," Dane boomed, "in short, thanks to you, Seo-un." The genius girl immediately teased him. "What, did you just swear?" Dane muttered under his breath, "No, you misheard." He thought to himself, "I definitely swore." Then he uncapped a marker and began drawing. "Anyway," he said. He sketched a bridge on the board and continued, "The theme for this terror act. Will Seoul University's bridge collapse?" Subin peered at the drawing, puzzled. The Seoul University bridge. He drew a monster and then a landscape. Yes. Because, Dane drew a region. Right here at Youi-do this winter a giant monster will appear. It will push north and sweep the peninsula clean. He drew an explosion and finished with the word end. But what if we stage a terror so convincing that the Seoul University bridge falls? Boon, the monster has an Achilles heel, water. It screams, it dies. We get to stage terror and pick up villain points at the same time. Bottom line, we win on both counts. Seo-un spoke up, "Like always, where do you even get this info?" Dane tipped his hat in a mock salute and replied, "That is trade secret." The genius snorted a laugh. "Feels like we are killing two birds with one stone, taking out a villain and staging a terror. Besides, this time it does not seem to be about that Stardust kid." Dane cut her off, deadpan, "Stop calling her that kid." Seo-un beamed. "Great, so the concept's set, right?" Dane smiled back. "What could we be short on?" she asked. "Time," she added. Dane rubbed his thumb and forefinger together, then answered, "No money." A short while later the livestream went live. The moment Dane appeared in his egoistic guise, the chat exploded. On camera, Egoistic hovered in midair. A speaker floated in front of him. Egoistic addressed the audience, "Hello, everyone, the most influential villain, ranked No. 1 by the Korean Association." He smiled and continued, "Egoistic is back. You all know what I am gonna do, right?" In a car, the driver heard Egoistic's voice coming from the speaker. "What am I going to do here, on the Seoul University bridge? Of course, a bombing." The driver stomped on the brake and shouted, "A bombing." The cars lined up to enter the bridge ground to a halt. Egoistic grinned, pressed a button, and said, "Everyone, stop whatever you are doing." The bridge detonated instantly. Shards and debris flew in every direction. Egoistic said cheerfully, "Looks like inviting our special guests to help with the game has worked out." A viewer in the chat wrote skeptically, "Who gets invited to be a guest like that?" Egoistic announced immediately, "The participants in this game are all the law-abiding citizens across the country who are watching this broadcast, that is you." He explained the rules simply: send your bank account number through the link in the video and I will immediately transfer 100,000 won to you. But viewers watching the live stream were stunned. Egoistic continued, if, by 7:00 p.m. tonight, more than 500,000 people have received 100,000 won from me, then I will detonate this bridge right away. Some viewers reacted with glee. Others reacted with horror. Egoistic went on, of course, that includes the people trapped on the bridge as well. Standing before the now collapsing bridge, he said, make your choice. Do you want a free 100,000 won, or do you want the Seoul University Bridge to blow at any moment? He declared. So, here's the choice for the people of Korea: 100,000 won and the Seoul University Bridge event officially begins. Egoistic smiled and said, oh, and Stardust, no need for you to come today. Just take the day off. Someone in the chat teased, do not worry, my girl will be safe with me. Another replied, Mango Stick, our sweet criminal, guarantees Stardust a day off. Others laughed, you are the hero. He is the villain, tell him not to come and see if he will listen. Egoistic stretched. He grinned to himself, thinking how the other villains must be relieved to get some peace and quiet for a change. Then someone suddenly lunged toward him. Egoistic looked at the person who'd appeared and, surprised, called out, Stardust. He nearly dropped the remote. Panic flared for a second the detonator. Seeing Stardust brought a flood of memories. It had been a long time since he would seen her. They stared at each other in silence. Stardust glared at Egoistic. A heavy pressure settled over Egoistic. He hesitated, then said, Miss Stardust. She stayed silent, her eyes cold and fixed on him. Egoistic froze. Her stare unnerved him. What is going on, he thought. Elsewhere, someone frowned and asked, Chief Kim, what are you doing smoking? Chief Kim jumped up, pointed at the phone in his hand and said, Bot, take a look at this. The bot peered at the screen. The headline read, Celebrating Mangostick's return at the Seoul University Bridge charity event. Leave your bank account in the link and receive 100,000 won. The article even included social posts with people proving they would receive the money, Chief Kim explained. You just put your bank account down here and they transfer 100,000 won straight to you. The department head's eyes widened. Let me see. If over 500,000 people claim it, he will detonate it. Seoul University Bridge will be blown up. Chief Kim asked, you know Mango Stick, right? He scrolled to another post and read aloud. Live broadcast celebrating Mangostick's return at the Seoul University Bridge and charity giveaway. Leave your bank account in the link to get 100,000 won. People are posting photos as proof. Chief Kim said, that so-called self-proclaimed villain is running some kind of terror stunt at the Seoul University Bridge. Oh my god, who would fall for that? Chief Kim immediately laughed and said, I just got it 100,000 won. The department head exploded in anger. What are you doing? Seeing his bot mad, the man bowed quickly and shouted, sorry, sir, chief, I am sorry. The chief winked. You are slow, I already claimed it the moment the notice popped up. What did you think I am? Chief Kim gave a thumbs up and laughed. Bot, you really gave me a scare, nice performance. The department head laughed out loud. Besides, how could we possibly push it past 500,000 people? Tonight we will just have a company party. The man answered, yes, sir. Elsewhere, a woman was on the phone. Honey, have you had dinner? She paused, then asked, my bank account. What? She squinted at her phone and murmured, oh my, what is going on? Who is handing out pocket money like this? A notification showed money arriving. She gasped, oh my god, it is real. What is Ego Squad? Back on the bridge, the fires from the explosion still burned. Wrapped in his cloak, Egoistic shivered and muttered, I did not expect it to be this cold. He hesitated. Stardust was still standing there with her arms crossed, watching him. Egoistic complained inwardly, that look of hers felt like knives. She is probably waiting for me to blow the bridge before she acts. No, now I feel even colder. He turned to look at her and wondered why she was staring like that. It was not part of the plan unless there was some event tied to Seoul University Bridge. Egoistic thought, I did not expect her to be this angry. I feel terrible. He tugged at his hat and told himself there was no other way. Everything was for Stardust, all for her. With the power of the Black Calamity as described in the source material, she would not be able to stop it in her current state. He remembered the Black Calamity how, the first time it appeared in the original story, it was a catastrophic event. Unlike the light-hearted superhero thrillers, this was a sign that the story was going to get much darker. He pulled out his phone and muttered, "Anyway, let us check." Egoistic was surprised to see that 450,000 people had already claimed the payout with 3 hours left to go. He teleported beneath the bridge and sighed. People in this world, honestly there are no words. Rubbing his neck, he thought, I figured it would work even if I did not meddle. But are you actually going to let greed kill them? Unbelievable. He started the live stream and addressed the viewers. Good people of Korea, do you actually think you have just received 100,000 won? Comments started exploding. Really, is it for real? Of course it is. Egoistic tapped on a parked car and said, I am sure you have not forgotten. He rapped on the car window and announced, we are going to interview a passenger who might be sacrificed. Keep your consciences on standby out there. The car window slowly rolled down. Egoistic peered inside, thoughtful. From here on, things are out of my control. Hopefully no one else decides to drive onto this bridge now. He let out a booming laugh and greeted cheerfully. Oh my, hello there, thanks for hanging in there. Could you introduce yourself for us? The man inside, with neat black hair, smiled politely. Yes, hello. My name's Choi Young-jin. Egoistic was taken aback. Why the hell does he look so calm? Leaning casually against the side of the car, Egoistic asked, Nice to meet you, Mr. Choi Young-jin. In a life-threatening situation like this, do you feel nervous or scared at all? Young-jin suddenly burst out laughing. Egoistic blinked in confusion. Why is he laughing? Still grinning, practically glowing with positivity, Young-jin said, What is there to worry about? If people stop claiming the money, Seoul University Bridge, and I will be perfectly fine, right? Egoistic covered his face with his hand, sighing inwardly. I will apologize to you on their behalf, man. Look at that pure, clueless optimism. Comments flooded the live stream. I was debating whether to claim it or not. I decided not to. You are such a good person. Am I? Garbage. Yeah, I am gonna claim it. As long as it is not me dying, right? And others just repeated the same 2 words over and over. I am sorry. I am sorry. After a pause, Egoistic spoke up again. Well then, Mr. Young-jin, thank you for your inspiring words about your strong faith in the people of Korea. Anything else you would like to add? Young-jin answered with innocent confidence, Korea, let us do our best. I believe in you all. Meanwhile, far away, Stardust was standing on a rooftop overlooking the bridge. She pressed her lips together and thought, what the hell are you plotting this time, Egoistic? Egoistic, now walking toward another car, groaned internally. God, I am exhausted. Could everyone please react like normal humans just once? Stopping in front of another car window, he began to speak, But before he could finish, a chorus of excited voices erupted from inside. It is Egoistic. Oh my god, he is even hotter in real life. We are not gonna die here today, right? Totally, we are your fans. Then one of the girls leaned closer to the window and asked, but you are not really gonna kill us, right? You never do. Remember that airplane incident? Another chimed in, yeah, that one. Egoistic froze in disbelief. Great. Absolute chaos. Just perfect. Egoistic quickly pulled his hood over his head and shouted, Alright, then I will end the interview here, let us move. The girls screamed in protest, Wait a second, you are way too impatient. One of them pulled out a tablet, tugging on his sleeve. Sign this before you go. Egoistic immediately took it and signed. Then the girl in the car said, Let me take 4 pictures, okay. A comment popped up, laughing, he is literally doing everything they ask, so polite. Another user added, I do not even know who the victims are anymore. Someone in the car kept babbling, and I already received 100,000 won, thanks. Another chimed in, I got 400,000 won now, awesome. Let us have spicy hot pot tonight. If we died here, we would not get to eat, right? Egoistic thought to himself, I am not interviewing civilians anymore. This terrorist operation is a complete failure. A little later, he asked, Seo-eun, can you turn on the screen? She promptly replied, yes. The livestream suddenly displayed the devastated scene of the bridge. The lights were turned on, and around Egostick, a dozen cameras were positioned, all trained on him. Bowing slightly, he addressed the viewers, "Yes, everyone, it is 7 p.m. now, right?" He smiled and announced, "The nationwide 100,001 participation terrorist event at Seoul University Bridge has concluded. I hereby present the results." The comment feed on the screen immediately erupted with a flood of messages. "Come on, let us go, 500,000 is not that hard, do not disappoint Young Jin, sorry, damn it, if Seoul University Bridge collapses, how am I supposed to work now?" The numbers spun wildly, and Egostick, deliberately pausing for dramatic tension, kept interrupting the count. Finally, fireworks shot up into the sky all around, painting a breathtaking spectacle. Egostick announced, 125,000 people, they're the ones who have received 100,000 won. He shouted with delight, "Wonderful, the people of Korea are truly amazing." Meanwhile, those on the bridge panicked. "What is happening?" Egostick snapped his fingers and laughed loudly. "Selfish fools, enjoy your final fireworks." The bombs attached to the bridge detonated instantly. Stardust ground her teeth, muttering angrily, "That guy." Finally, amid the roar of explosions, Egostick bowed gracefully and said, "Up until now, I am still me, Egostick." Viewers watching the livestream immediately panicked. "Is that blood? They are dead." Egostick put his hood back on and sighed, floating in the air. "Hanging here too long is exhausting. I have really reached my limit." He muttered under his breath, "In the end, we just need to watch Stardust save them." Stardust immediately leapt toward a car teetering on the edge of falling. She stretched out her hands toward it. Egostick froze. What could it be? She caught me off guard. He raised his hand, and mana instantly condensed into a sphere in his palm. Egostick yelled in frustration, "Damn it." Stardust also lunged, the car plummeting toward the ground. Together, Stardust and Egostick struggled to lift the car. Stardust pulled the two vehicles back with her hands. After helping her, Egostick panted, muttering, "I am at my limit." Suddenly, a wave of dizziness hit him. Egostick plummeted through the air, about to crash into the water below. A spatial vortex appeared and swept him up. Egostick had teleported back to the base. Seo-eun and Subin rushed over in a panic. The genius girl shouted, "No, Dane." Blood streamed relentlessly from Dane's nose and mouth, his eyes gradually losing focus. Outside the treatment chamber, Seo-eun and Subin hovered anxiously. Seo-eun's voice trembled as she pleaded, "Open your eyes. Please, Dane." Ha Yul stood silently outside, her head bowed as she hugged her own arms. Seo-eun gazed at him lying motionless, whispering, "Please." Ha Yul remained quiet, standing at the edge of the room. She lifted her head and took a deep, steady breath. Then, using the tips of her fingers, she rubbed her eyes. Elsewhere, Haru stood on a balcony, her thoughts quietly drifting to Egostick. She held a newspaper in her hands, scanning the headlines all connected to Egostick and Stardust, Egostick's warning letter to Stardust, Stardust's speech at the observatory, the ice cream festival bombing. Haru recalled Egostick's words, "Do not even think about showing your face or stepping out. If you do, your life will be miserable." She remembered how Stardust had stopped Egostick's airplane bombing plot, and also that moment when he had bolstered her courage. Frowning, Haru thought, "I certainly would not have dared to act on my own back then. It was that voice that made me believe I could." She whispered to herself, "He seems to know everything about me." And recalled Egostick's encouragement, "You can do this." Exhaling softly, she murmured, "Then go save them." Haru remembered all those moments watching Egostick, repeatedly asking herself, "A man who creates terror. It has been so long since I have met him, there is so much I want to ask. Are you truly a villain, really a murderer?" Clenching her fists and lowering her head, she thought, "What is your true nature, Egostick?" Yet, her feelings remained confusing, undefined. She remembered staring at him, frozen, unable to speak a single word. And now, she surged forward toward the car plummeting into the river. Her silent prayer echoed in her mind, "Please." Stardust gritted her teeth, thinking, "Touch it." The car was bathed in a pale purple light. Immediately, she realized its descent was slowing. Turning her head, she saw Egoistic. Stardust watched as he used his power, then fell downward. After rescuing the civilians, Stardust gazed toward the river, while the fangirls vented their fury at Egoistic. "I really want to kill him. That vile bastard," they shouted. On the bridge, only ruins and smoke remained. The river's surface lay calm. Stardust stood silently, a knot of worry tightening in her chest. Haru gripped the newspaper tightly, thinking, it has come to this. She wondered to herself, so Egoistic really is. At that moment, a voice broke through, cheerful and teasing. "Why so gloomy all by yourself? This time, it was a terror plot with 0 casualties, you know." A girl with pale blue hair approached Haru, carrying 2 cans of beer, and asked, "My little beauty, Shin Haru?" The person approaching was Lee Sol-ah, an A-rank hero known as Icicle. Haru immediately brightened. "Sol-ah, thank you for coming." Sol-ah hugged her in return. "What is this about? Of course I had to come." Haru smiled, her cheeks flushed pink. The 2 cans of beer were opened, and they quickly clinked them together. Sol-ah downed more than half a can in one go. She laughed loudly. This is perfect, watching the Soul Night with Haru and enjoying a bit of ordinary peace. Her gaze shifted, slightly, glancing to the side. Sol-ah sighed. "What is up, Haru? You just got home and you are still working, and it is because of that bastard Egoistic again, is not it?" Haru nodded. Sol-ah tried to comfort her. "Do not worry about it." Mok-chun also said the crime rate went down, and he seemed happy about it. "Honestly, I did not dare say it before, but this time, during the terror plot, it really did not seem like he wanted to hurt you anymore." Haru suddenly asked, "But Sol-ah, can I talk to you for a bit?" Sol-ah nodded, listening. Haru spoke softly, "I think maybe Egoistic is not entirely a villain." Elsewhere, Ha-Yul walked through the corridor. She saw Seo-eun exhausted, asleep on the floor. Ha-Yul quietly draped a blanket over her. Silently, she moved toward the medical room. She opened the door and stepped inside. Her eyes fell on Dane, still lying in the treatment chamber. Ha-Yul approached the chamber and wondered to herself whether she should intervene. He seems like a good person. But what if he changes, just like those who once craved the power he wields? She paused, thinking hard. At that moment, Dane suddenly curled up in pain. Tears welled in her eyes. He does not know anything, yet he still saved Cha-Yoon and me. He has been kind without asking for anything in return. And now he is dying right before my eyes. Dane gasped in pain. A single tear slid down the glass. Ha-Yul silently scolded herself. Am I really going to let him die like this? She whispered, I am sorry, Da-en. I do not have enough courage. Softly, she added, you truly are a good person. But if you knew my power, I am afraid. I am afraid you would become like them. Ha-Yul wiped the tears from her face with her arm. She stepped back a little. Raising her hand, pale blue light flared from her palm. She spoke firmly, but I will try to be brave this once. The wound on Dane's abdomen slowly began to close. By the time it had fully sealed and the bleeding stopped, the pale blue glow faded. Dane's breathing gradually steadied. Ha-Yul then quietly left the room, leaving him safe. Before stepping outside, Ha-Yul turned back and said, thank you. She quickly walked away. Inside the treatment chamber, Dane placed a hand over his abdomen, thinking to himself, finally. I have found an older sister who actually cares. The glass panel slid open, and Dane sat up, calling softly, Ha-Yul. He smiled and added, thank you. Elsewhere, Sol-Ah and Haru had finished 4 cans of beer. Sol-Ah spoke up, all right then, let us sum this up. She continued, Egoistic's terrorist acts are strange in that there are never any casualties except for the villains themselves. From the mysterious calls to the airplane terror incident. She paused, then asked. All the way to today's SUV rescue, right? Haru nodded, her eyes sparkling. Sol-Ah teased, oh my god, Shin Haru. You actually believe that Egoistic is an S-rank hero lurking in the shadows of Apple Mango? Is it really you? You are a rank Stardust, right? You are Shin Haru. Haru inwardly scolded herself. I really messed up. She turned angrily. It is not about believing or not, it is just that I feel there is more to it than just a conspiracy. Sol Ah grinned. Come on, tell me the username you use in Mangostic's fan club. Wait, you do not have one. Just kidding, do not get mad, little Haru. Haru glanced at Sol Ah and cleared her throat. Anyway, she continued, there are a few vague points, sure, but he is very professional when he does something wrong. Haru hesitated, then admitted, that is true. Sol Ah pressed on. Wow, then what is the problem? Just see him as a villain, Haru. Haru lowered her head, troubled. From what I can tell, Egostic seems to be looking far ahead. I do not know exactly what that means, but… Sol Ah interrupted with a teasing tone. Come on, workaholic Shin Haru, let us not talk about that weird hatted villain anymore. Lately, no one's caught your eye. You should be taking this chance to date someone. Haru immediately protested, and what do you know about dating? Sol Ah, actually the heir to the major Yuseong conglomerate, blushed and said, my family monitors my private life extremely strictly. It is not that I can't meet anyone, it is just that I do not want to right now. Haru teased her. Sol Ah, your face is all red, so cute. Sol Ah shot back immediately. I am not, really. At a large prison, a black car pulled up in front of the gate. An elderly man stepped out, Kim Soon-woo, S-rank villain and technical advisor for Ha-eun Corporation. A young white-haired doctor greeted him cheerfully. You have worked hard, sir. Soon-woo cut him off. Move aside. How's the progress? The white-haired man reported, currently at 56%. The project is progressing smoothly, expected to be completed around September next year. Soon-woo clicked his tongue. Oh, really? Soon-woo scolded sharply, too slow. No matter what, everything must be fully prepared before this winter ends. The young white-haired doctor remained silent, shooting him a cautious glance. Once inside the car, Soon-woo gave orders to his subordinates, let us move out. He thought to himself, just wait. He muttered under his breath, before this winter ends, everything in Korea will be under the control of Dr. Kim Soo-woo. At Egostic's base. From the TV, a reporter delivered breaking news. Breaking, drive. Kim Soo-woo, suspected of concealing unethical experiments, has been released this morning at 7 a.m. He is expected to return to his position at the front line of Ha-eun Corporation. Dane propped his chin on his hand, watching the television with a smile. All right, players, let us get on the field. Seo-eun, passing by, called out, oh my god, what are you talking about? 3 months later, a blanket of snow covered the whole city. Cha-yoon bundled up in his coat and barreled out into the yard, shouting with glee, Snow, this is awesome, come back here. Seo-eun chased after him, yelling, hey, I called dibs first. Subin and Ha-Yul sat down at a table. Subin took a sip of hot cocoa and smiled. This feels so nice, right? Yeah, Ha-Yul replied. Really perfect. Dane walked over and called out, hey, Seo-eun, could you, walk normally? What are those tiny steps? You are ruining the pristine snow. Someone immediately lofted a snowball straight at his face. Seo-eun cheered, game on. Seo-eun and Cha-yoon taunted him, come on, Mangastic, come get some. Dane fell silent for a second, then raised his hand. 2 snowballs smack him square in the face. Dane clenched his fist and ground his teeth. You little brats, come at me. I will teach you some manners. Special move, super fast ice. Seo-eun shouted, what is that, cheating, Mangastic? Cha-yoon protested too, that is totally bending the rules. The kid threw his hands up and surrendered. I give up, I surrender. Seo-eun looked at him in surprise. Dane nodded in mock approval. Cha-yoon laughed, relieved. Then Dane asked, Seo-eun, are you ready? A giant snowball came flying and turned Seo-eun into a walking snow woman. Dane laughed and said, I am starving. Let us grab something light to eat. Got it, Cha-yoon shouted. They munched on snacks, chocolate chip cookies, and had a great time, momentarily forgetting about Seo-eun. She marched up to Dane. While he was asking Cha-yoon, can you text Ha-Yul to bring a few more, a snow fist slammed into Dane's head. His face hit the table. Seo-eun panicked, Mangastic's finished was that too rough, the snowball had been packed with water. Cha Yun fumbled, "Are you okay?" Seo Un frantically shook Dane's shoulder, shouting, "We killed Mengistic Dane." Ha Yul walked over and shot him a long look. The girl said, "He is laughing, totally faking it." Dane mocked Seo Un's words, "You mean me, Dane?" He pressed his hands to his face, feigning embarrassment. So touched. Seo Un actually cares about me. Seo Un grit her teeth, her face flushed red. She lifted a snowball with 2 bottles of frozen water stuck inside. Dane immediately shouted, "Hey, that hurts." "Shut up," she yelled back, then sprinted after him. As he dodged Seo Un, Dane recalled the past 3 months. "We relaxed and enjoyed the winter. I even thought about staging another little terror, but Stardust is now as strong as she was in 3rd year of that alternate timeline, no need for that anymore." Dane glanced at Ha Yul and thought, the only real change. Ha Yul's been smiling more. Maybe she is finally letting her guard down with us, little by little. All eyes were on him, and public opinion had shifted too. Everyone blamed Egoistic for the Soul Bridge incident. My reputation, completely ruined. I mean, 1.2 million people got my money, of course they needed someone to blame. Those selfish citizens muttered to themselves, it was that Egoistic guy behind the terror stunt. Exactly. How dare he call us accomplices, Dane sneered. Convenient, is not it? After all, being a villain was my original goal anyway. He mused, now. I just have to wait for the black disaster to appear. At that moment, Seo Un leapt onto him and shouted, "Got you." Dane fell to the ground but laughed, "You win." But in the blink of an eye, Seo Un was transformed into a snow woman, while Dane dashed away. Subin saw this and laughed loudly. What was that horrible scream? Ha Yul hurriedly said, "You will get hurt if you keep playing like that." Everyone returned to the tea table and started planning. "I am starving. What should we eat tonight? We played too much. Should we make some cookies? Perfect. Let us go inside, freezing out here. Let us call Seoyin first. Oh, right." Elsewhere, warning lights flashed red continuously. A research lab collapsed, and staff ran chaotically in every direction. Kim Soon-woo fell to the ground, screaming in panic. "Impossible. This can't be happening, damn it, where everything's gone." A staff member shouted, "Doctor, you need to get out now." He resisted, "Let me go. I can't abandon my life's work." He turned to look at the site of the explosion. A strange creature slowly emerged from the smoke. 2 staffers helped Soon-woo up. One shouted, "Doctor, we need to move now." Soon-woo muttered, "No. Behemoth." "What? Test subject 1. It was only a prototype. How does it even have consciousness?" The creature, Behemoth, opened its massive mouth and let out a deafening roar. In a high-rise building, security guards scattered in panic. Suddenly, an explosion ripped through the structure. Stardust dashed inside the building. She flung open the door to a room and demanded, "Mr. President, what is happening?" The man pointed at a screen, shouting, "Emergency, Stardust, look." Behemoth had now broken free from the lab and was rampaging through the city. The man panicked, exclaiming, "Where did that horror even come from?" Stardust looked up, her sharp instincts catching on to something. She yelled, "Run, outside Behemoth has started destroying the building." A civilian, unlucky enough to be driving, got trapped amid the rubble. A wall slammed into his car, but he miraculously jumped out just in time. Panicked, he cried, "My car!" An adult nearby yelled, "Forget the car, just run." Behemoth continued its relentless destruction, toppling buildings as it went. A man clutched his son in terror, praying, "Oh Lord." The monster roared, sending the man screaming in fear. Stardust shouted a quick message before charging out. "I am going now." Bak Jun-ho tried to stop her. "Calm down, Stardust. You can't face something that huge alone." She spun around, resolute. "I can't just sit here and watch it wreak havoc. Go ahead and eat your popcorn, Mr. President." The older man was stunned. "What?" A loud crash echoed, making her turn. On the screen, Behemoth was seen demolishing everything in its path and heading toward the Seoul University Bridge. Suddenly, it collapsed into the river and slowly sank. The atmosphere in the room immediately stilled. Bak Jun-ho called out, "Stardust." She blinked, bewildered. The man continued, "I want a full report on my desk by tomorrow morning, and No more popcorn. Stardust hesitated, sorry. At Egostick's base, he calmly munched on popcorn. The moment Behemoth fell into the river, cheers erupted everywhere. Night had fallen, but a single house still burned with light. Haru sat at her desk, scrolling through news on her computer. Her eyes landed on an article with the headline, "Seriously, are there still people who think Egotick is the villain?" The piece argued that anyone who still labels Egotick a villain needs to read this primer on free discussion. It went on in a frantic, clumsy way. The black creature catastrophe still retains a degree of intelligence. If it fully awakens its consciousness, even the best heroes won't be able to stop it. Given time and a growth in intellect, it will avoid its weak points, water, for example, and wipe everything out in Korea. The article concluded by glorifying Egotick. Haru sighed as she finished the piece. She bit into a slice of tangerine and muttered to herself that it was unbelievable how things had ended up like this. In reality, if Egotick does not collapse before reaching Seoul, no Korean superhuman could stop those monsters. Pondering that grim problem, Haru fell silent and stared into the night. Only a few streetlights pierced the darkness. She pulled on a hat, adjusted her neat clothes, and ran down the empty road. Her ponytail whipped behind her as she ran, repeating the mantra in her head, "He is the villain. I am the hero. Even if it is to protect myself, I will protect others." Haru set her jaw and hurried on. On the TV, an anchor updated the breaking story. Investigators now believe that experiments by Korea's top conglomerate, Hanyul Group, are the source of the recent black creature disaster, a revelation that had shaken the nation. The Hanyul headquarters had collapsed overnight. No signs of life were found in the Hanyul building. The screen cut to footage of the corporate site while the anchor continued. Chairman Hanyul and Dr. Kim Sol-woo, the scientist responsible for the black creature experiments, had vanished along with their research team. Meanwhile, Dane, Seo-eun, Subin, and Ha-Yul were finishing dinner while watching the bulletin. When the news broke, Dane could not help but shake his head, so it had come to this. Ha-Yul punched the air and swore, furious, "Serves those bastards right." Subin, equally angry, flailed his hands and demanded they catch every single one who ran. Seo-eun chimed in, livid, "We have to round up those who fled. The alliance must punish the managers of Hanyul for what they have done." Dane, twisting a pair of plastic chopsticks in his fingers, tried to calm them down with a wry smile. "Do not worry," he said optimistically, "they will slip up and be found soon enough." Then, smiling, he asked if they could all meet up after dinner. Subin, puzzled, asked what he was planning. Seo-eun bristled at the reminder. "Every time you do this, I get worried." As Dane unfolded the detailed blueprint before them, the three Seo-eun, Subin, and Ha-Yul stared in disbelief. Their collective gasp erupted into a synchronized shout, "The underground laboratory of Hanian Corporation." After their outburst, Subin and Ha-Yul fell silent, but Seo-eun could not stop herself. She threw her hands in the air, her voice echoing through the room, "What is down there?" Dane looked at her helplessly, rubbing the back of his neck. "What do you mean by that?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. With a red pen, he circled a section on the blueprint B9. Then, with a sly grin that made his expression hard to read, he said quietly, "Something completely insane. Behemoth," he explained, "the ultimate weapon created by Hanian Corporation during their experiments on the superhuman army. They used it, implanted it into human bodies." On the blueprint, the tangled mass of lines and cables represented a spherical structure, a living organism composed of materials capable of resisting even the force of nuclear bombs and psychic interference. "The Black Disaster was the prototype of Behemoth," Dane continued. "From it, mutations on Earth evolved. If they would completed it, its power might have." His words trailed off into a rambling explanation that went in circles. Eventually, he noticed the blank, unreadable looks on the three women's faces. They stared at him as if he had just confessed to losing his mind. Confused, Dane scratched his head and frowned. "What is with those faces? Why are you all looking at me like that?" he asked, frustration creeping into his tone. Seo-eun was the first to respond. Her expression darkened, and her voice dropped, sharp and accusing. "So you are saying it is a superhuman monster army, and you are thinking about doing it again? What next, drilling more holes into your body?" Her sarcasm hit hard. "Yeah, sure, 2 more holes in your gut. Real cool, Dane. Dane's face turned pale. He avoided her eyes, jaw tightening, clearly out of words. But Seo-eun was not finished. She stood up abruptly, pointing straight at his face, her voice rising to a furious pitch. You are joking with me, right? Tell me you are joking. I just want to be stronger, Dane shot back, his voice tense, meeting her glare head-on. Stronger. Seo-eun snapped, leaping onto the table and raining punches down on him. You call that strength? She screamed, each word punctuated by a blow. Dane blocked her attacks, silently enduring her fury. Subin could not take it anymore. She stood up, rushing to pull them apart. Enough, both of you, she yelled, trying to wedge herself between them. The tension slowly settled, leaving the room in heavy silence. Dane did not say anything more. He sat there, deep in thought, mind drifting to the original story. In that version, there had never been any mention of what the Hero Association would do next. Even as Seo-eun's fists flew, Dane blocked them effortlessly, too effortlessly. Her expression flickered with surprise, but Dane barely noticed. He was still lost in thought, muttering inwardly, nothing serious will happen. Right. The next morning dawned bright and clear, the sky painted in soft blue and white. Inside a skyscraper owned by one of Korea's largest conglomerates, a conference was underway. An assistant stood at the podium, reporting the latest updates. We have detected multiple biological readings in the buried underground lab. It appears that some of the experimental subjects and researchers from Heroine Corporation may still be alive. Baek Jun-ho sat upright, brows furrowed. The neural network, he asked. On a large screen, Ya-yun joined remotely, her image flickering. I tried to approach it last night, she reported, but my shadow could not make contact. It was blocked by a wavelength barrier emitted by that black mass. Baek Jun-ho absorbed the report silently, then asked, and so Ta-dot, you heard that, right? The mission won't be easy. Are you still going? At that moment, Ta-dot hovered high above the ruins, looking down at a massive crater beneath her. Adjusting her earpiece, she answered without hesitation, yes. Baek Jun-ho's calm voice came through the comms, steady and commanding. Good. I am authorizing the expedition into Heroine Corporation's underground facility. Ta-dot accepted the mission without hesitation and dove straight down into the massive crater, her figure vanishing into the darkness below. Unbeknownst to her, Egoistic was standing on the rooftop of a nearby skyscraper, silently watching her descent. His expression was tense as he muttered under his breath, this is making me uneasy. Things are not exactly going according to plan. From the other end of the comms, Seo-eun's irritated voice cut in, sharp and mocking. If you are scared, you can turn back right now. Before the argument could escalate, Subin, clearly used to the pair's constant bickering, quickly stepped in to mediate. Seo-eun, do not provoke him like that. Egoistic, refusing to rise to the bait, puffed up his chest and replied with a boastful laugh. What? You think I am afraid of a few monsters? Please. Man Kim Donnie does not scare that easily. Seo-eun rolled her eyes, fingers clacking on the keyboard, her disdain practically radiating through the line. Subin could only sigh helplessly at their usual antics. Despite the snark, both women ended up smiling softly. Their final words to him were sincere. Be careful, okay? Egoistic smirked, snapping his fingers. A swirl of light and shadow surrounded him as his live broadcast flickered to life. Nice to see you all again, he greeted with a dramatic bow, his voice smooth and teasing. I am Egoistic. With that, he activated several effects to build intrigue and tension, effortlessly pulling in his audience. So, what is happening today? A terrorist attack? Oh, do not be disappointed, it is not one of my usual grand performances. Today's a field trip. Within a minute, over 10,000 viewers had joined the stream. The chat exploded in rapid-fire comments. Wait, is this the hero-ranked streamer Apple Mango's rival? Thank you, thank you, thank you, what the hell is going on? Is this in Seoul? Why is it so dark? You are not doing something insane again, are you? Egoistic panned his camera around, revealing the dimly lit underground structure, its machinery humming faintly in the shadows. His tone was light and mocking as he narrated, ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to the infamous underground base of Heroine Corporation, the birthplace of that little, black disaster you have all heard about. I do not know about you, but I am dying to see what kind of horrors they were cooking up down here. Shall we take a look? Meanwhile, at headquarters, chaos erupted. "Sa-ta-dot," Bak Jun-ho roared into the comms. "Sa-ta-dot, do you hear me?" His assistant hesitated, then spoke gently. "Sir, it is likely she has gone too deep underground. The radio signal can't reach her anymore." Bak Jun-ho slammed his fist on the table, teeth clenched in frustration. That damned egoistic, who does he think he is? Waltzing in there like it is his playground. Then, after a brief pause, he exhaled sharply and muttered, "Get me some popcorn." The assistant blinked. "Yes, sir." She stood up and quietly left the room. Back in the underground ruin, egoistic continued to stream, sweeping his camera across the twisted machinery. "Look at this," he sneered. "These bastards really went all out, did not they? What the hell were they doing here?" As his words echoed through the chamber, a chill ran down his spine. The deeper he looked into the darkness, the stronger the unsettling feeling grew. The live chat was in chaos. Viewers watching egoistic's stream could barely keep up with the flood of comments. Some were fascinated, others horrified, and a few tried to mask their unease with jokes, but the tension in the air was unmistakable, creeping through the screen like a chill. "Why's it so quiet? Where did everything go? This is giving me a bad feeling. Be careful, egoistic." The camera panned slowly across the desolate laboratory, rows of shattered glass tubes, collapsed support beams, scorched metal twisted like vines. Egoistic chuckled dryly, half mocking, half serious. "You really think I, the man who once made all of Korea tremble, would get scared over a few scraps from some experiment?" Then clink. A faint sound echoed from the darkness. His grin faltered. He froze, eyes narrowing, and with a flick of his wrist, a flare of light illuminated the tunnel. "What was that?" he muttered, instantly switching into alert mode. Several floating defense turrets unfolded around him, their barrels whirring into position. The noise came again, a soft scrape. Egoistic turned sharply, ready to fire, only to see a small white cat emerge from the shadows. "What the?" he blurted out, momentarily dumbfounded. "A cat, here." He squinted, lowering his weapon slightly. "Just a cat, in this place." But a sense of unease prickled at the back of his neck. Something was not right. His instincts screamed at him that this was wrong, impossibly wrong. Then, before his eyes, crimson threads began to unfurl beneath the cat's paws, coiling up its legs like veins of living wire. The creature convulsed, its body twisting unnaturally as the red cords pulsed and tightened. Egoistic took a step back, his breath catching. The cat let out a guttural hiss, its eyes glowing a violent, inhuman red. Perched atop the writhing mass of scarlet cables, it stared straight at him and screamed. The sound was not a meow. It was a shriek, distorted, guttural, like metal grinding against bone. Before he could react, a second sound came from behind. Egoistic spun around and froze as something massive emerged from the shadows. A grotesque creature, its face stretched into a mockery of humanity, its skin pale and trembling like wet parchment. It lunged at him, claws extended, teeth bared. He gasped, his voice caught in his throat, unable to scream. Terror flooded his face as the camera jolted wildly, the feed shaking violently before cutting to static. Meanwhile, far below, Sa-ta-dot was still navigating the endless underground passages when the faint crack of gunfire reached her ears. She stopped mid-step, her instincts flaring. That sound, she thought sharply, spinning around. Gunfire. Her expression hardened. Whatever was happening up there, it was not part of the mission. The scene cut back to the protagonist's perspective. By this point, he was already regretting every foolish decision that had led him here. As he ran, his thoughts spiraled in panic. "I shouldn't have crawled into this place. I should have listened to Seo-eun. Stronger. My ass. I should have just stayed home and practiced telekinesis instead." Behind him, the grotesque, big-faced monster was still on his tail. Egoistic frantically directed the floating guns around him, firing in all directions as he sprinted, but that only made his terror spike higher. Legs pumping, he muttered through clenched teeth. "No, there's no point regretting it now. At this point, I have to catch Behemoth before I get out of here. The very next second, true to the nature of our overly dramatic villain, he slipped. His body went tumbling forward, rolling several times across the floor before coming to a painful stop. His face contorted as he groaned, darting a glance behind him. As expected, the monster had seized the opening and closed the distance. Drool dripped from its gaping maw as it loomed over him, ready to devour its prey. Out of options, Egostick gathered every floating gun at once and unleashed a barrage of firepower. Countless bullets riddled the monster's massive body, tearing bloody holes into its flesh. But against something of that size, those wounds were little more than scratches. Instead of falling, the creature only grew more enraged. It let out an ear-splitting roar, shaking the entire underground facility until, finally, the whole place came crashing down in a cloud of choking dust. Somehow, through sheer dumb luck or divine comedy, Egostick survived, crawling out of the rubble, drenched in grime and pain. He muttered, "How deep is this place anyway? In the chaos I even lost my camera and my guns." "Great." He raised his voice, trying his communicator. "Seo-un, can you hear me?" Silence. No response. A creeping dread began to coil in his gut. "Guess the signal doesn't reach this deep. Now I'm actually starting to get a little scared." "Just a little," he admitted, glancing warily around the ruins. But before he could collect himself, a sudden shockwave rattled the wall to his left. A fist had punched straight through the concrete, leaving a deep crater. Out stepped a familiar figure, Stardust. Her heightened senses tingled as she narrowed her eyes, scanning the dust-filled room. "This energy, it feels familiar." "Don't tell me, Egostick," she murmured. Her gaze locked onto him, confirming it. Instantly, she took a combat stance, voice sharp. "What are you doing here?" On his end, Egostick froze, panic flooding his mind. His hands flailed slightly as he stammered. Wait, Stardust, I should be the one asking that. What are you doing here?" Cracking her knuckles, Stardust shot back coolly. "I'm a hero. Cleaning up places like this isn't unusual for me, right?" Her words left him speechless. "Right, yeah, fair point," he muttered, nodding weakly. That was all the confirmation she needed. A slow, confident smile crept across her face as she straightened up. "Perfect timing. Looks like I found an unexpected bonus target." Her eyes glinted dangerously. "If you come quietly, this won't hurt." The moment she finished speaking, Stardust lunged forward, reaching out to grab him. Egostick narrowly managed to use his teleportation ability to dodge. And just like that, the two of them began a relentless chase through the cramped underground space. What made it worse was that Egostick's evasions were only barely successful each time Stardust attacked. Her strikes came within inches of hitting him. Finally, gasping for breath, he threw up a hand in a desperate attempt to stall her. "Wait a minute, hold on. I know you see me as nothing more than a villain. But just look around you. You know as well as I do, this place is dangerous. You don't even know what this facility really is, do you? So why don't we call a temporary truce until we get to the lower levels?" He made his proposal in a rush, hoping she'd at least listen. Stardust paused for 3 seconds, her brows furrowing. Instead of answering, she shot back, "Then why don't you tell me what you're doing here first?" Egostick shrugged helplessly, trying to sound casual despite the sweat running down his face. "Let's just say, curiosity. The people who worked here were the ones who created the Black Catastrophe. I figured they might have built something even worse." She studied him in silence, gauging whether he was telling the truth. After a few seconds, she finally gave a short nod. "Fine, that's acceptable. Let's cooperate for now. Follow me. I've been having trouble dealing with those monsters anyway. You can lend a hand." With that, she turned and started walking. Egostick blinked, taken aback by how easily she'd agreed. "Huh? I was just throwing that out there. How the hell did it turn into this?" he muttered. Meanwhile, Stardust's inner thoughts told a different story. "If I try to capture him by force, he'll probably just escape again. Better to keep him close and watch him. Maybe this way, I'll finally understand what makes Egostick tick." Time passed quickly. The two of them were now searching through documents inside what looked like an abandoned research room. Egostick, instead of focusing, kept glancing around suspiciously, scanning every corner. His constant fidgeting finally got on Stardust's nerves. She slammed her fist into the wall right next to him, leaving a deep dent, and yelled, "What the hell are you mumbling about? Villain? You're testing my patience. This place is full of secrets. Get out before I crush you." Seeing the terrifying look in her eyes, like a lion about to devour its prey, Egoistic instantly straightened up. "Yes, ma'am, leaving right away. God, you're scary," he yelped dramatically. But when he turned back to look at her, focused, serious, and radiant even in the dim light, a blush crept up his cheeks. Getting to work together like this, I could get used to it, he thought, grinning like an idiot. After a while, realizing they weren't finding any useful leads, the two decided to move on. Following behind her, Egoistic couldn't help but be impressed. She's navigating this place so easily. Don't tell me her extrasensory perception has evolved this much already. Putting that aside for the moment, the two eventually arrived at a room labeled Supernatural Power Suppression Chamber. The suspicious name alone made Stardust hesitate to step in. Instead, she turned around and ordered flatly, "Hey, Egoistic, you go in first." Egoistic froze on the spot, his voice rising in panic. "Me? You want me to go in there?" Stardust didn't bother arguing. She simply raised a clenched fist and cracked her knuckles. A silent but terrifying threat. Seeing that, Egoistic immediately backed down. "Of course I'll go in. Naturally. I'll go in," he said with a forced grin, though his thoughts told a different story. "She's totally treating me like a lab rat." Reluctantly, he pushed open the door and stepped inside. To test the room's effect, he took off his hat and tossed it into the air, then tried to control it with his telekinetic ability. Nothing happened. He frowned and concentrated harder, closing his eyes to attempt teleportation next. Still nothing. "It really doesn't work?" he muttered under his breath. From outside, Stardust's voice came, slightly dark and doubtful. "Seriously?" Egoistic didn't have time to respond. Just as he was examining the walls, a loud boom erupted behind him. Startled, he spun around, only to see Stardust standing before a cracked wall. Her fist still half raised, bits of debris falling around her. "I just wanted to check if it really nullifies powers," she said matter-of-factly, brushing dust off her gloves. "Turns out it does. I don't lie about things like that." Egoistic stared at her, wide-eyed, half in awe and half in fear. She broke through that wall with nothing but brute strength. That's so damn cool. But wait, what if the whole place collapses on us? Still, deep down, he couldn't help but marvel. Her raw power's grown so much. It's honestly terrifying. Before he could think any further, a blaring alarm suddenly filled the chamber. Red warning lights began flashing across the walls. The atmosphere instantly tensed. Both of them froze, the same realization striking them at once. We're trapped inside a sealed chamber. No supernatural powers. Just a hero and a villain, alone together? No way. This can't be happening.